Jake Knapp is the inventor of the design sprint and the New York Times bestselling author of the book Sprint. He's also the co-founder of Character, a venture fund for early-stage startups. How and why did you start using Miro?
I came from this position of thinking, I don't want to be doing stuff online, to thinking now when I do a sprint in person with a company, it's like, we're going to use Miro, even though we're all in the same room, because that's a better way for us to get this work done. As an investor, we're basically investing in their ability to solve problems. We're saying, we think this group of people is going to be able to solve a problem in a really great way and create value by doing it. And actually, you need to give people the tools that can help them make decisions, help them collaborate, help them visualize and see things in a different way. And Miro does all those things. So to me, at least as an investor, I'm thinking, give the team the tools that are going to help them think, that are going to make the most, brighten their skills as smart folks. And Miro is at the top of that list.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on PrizePicks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can turn $10 into $250. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions.
Panther fans unite! My name's Tony Dunn. Cody Lashney, how you doing? TK's in the house. How you doing, my friend? The Stat Daddy.
But I think Derek Brown, hey man, he deserves that dab on him pick.
Dab on him, Phil Snow. Dab on him.
All the same, yeah, 100%. We can do.
Mine is going to go to the fullback. I'm going to dump on the Richie guy. Dab on him, Shaq.
I'm going to put the towel on Matt Rule.
Y'all took all the good ones.
Only one postgame roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers postgame show.
Welcome in, Panther fans. Welcome in. We are going a little live, a little early. I know I made promises I couldn't keep last night on the simulation, but the Carolina Panthers have gotten the ball after allowing an easy touchdown. It's fourth quarter. 2 minutes and 57 seconds left, up 7 points, and it's a cardiac cats type of game that we're going to have to face. And Cuckoo Boo Boo just missed an extra point, and this hurts the Falcons a ton, and that they might have to they would tie it up instead of getting the win if they get a touchdown. Yep. And it hurts us too, because if they do tie it up, we got to go into damn overtime. Yeah. In the late night. But it's the C3 Panthers post-game show. Watching the last couple of minutes of what has been a very good game for the Carolina Panthers, a bounce-back game, partially a bad, and a lot of that I think is a bad game by the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to break down the game. We're going to watch. We're going to react to the final couple of minutes and see if the Carolina Panthers can pull it out. Right now it's 2nd and 6, and we're trying to extend this drive. The Atlanta Falcons have 2 timeouts. And Dante Foreman's tackled in the backfield. Cody Lashley, welcome in. We are really had a dominant game so far tonight, a dominant performance, winning the line of scrimmage on both sides, as Steve Wilkes likes to talk about. But right at the end, the Carolina Panthers defense blows a coverage. Damiere Byrd with 2 catches that lead to a Hodge touchdown. They're pulling into range here, Cody. Typical Carolina Panthers stuff right here.
Yeah, cardiac cats, man, tried and true. I tell you what, I think the Panthers have looked the best tonight when they're throwing the football. And yet Steve Wilkes is – I really do. I think that we need to air the ball out more. I know there's a lot of conservative play calling, and we need to do better, man. I really think we need to do better. And, yeah, the Panthers, right now I got 2 minutes and 46 seconds. It's a 3rd and 7. Panthers are trying to do everything they can to be 3-1 in the division, and we need this, man. This has been We're in the black helmets, man. We're feeling good.
CK.
Almost an interception by PJ. Real quick, let me introduce the very best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. My man Drew, Chris Mortensen, Cutie Pie, Levi, Michael Johnson, Mike Hollinger, Panther Pickle, Scott Dang, Skunk Cake Mysteries, Underground West, Vibrating Higher. Cody Dunn, it's a postgame show. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's roll.
PJ Walker's been up and down tonight. CK, he's gotten away with a couple of them, man.
Three.
He's gotten away with a couple of them.
Surefire picks.
Blackshear made a great pickup on a block there, and then he just threw a terrible pass. The Atlanta Falcons get the ball with 2 minutes and 33 seconds, the 2-minute warning, and a timeout to try to tie this game up. CK, Cardiac Cats game here. And I want to celebrate the Panthers as having a good game. I think Deontay Foreman has been just tremendous tonight. But the Falcons have also been very bad at the same time, particularly Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota, but their offensive line has been shredded cheese, Swiss cheese, as some might say. They haven't done a tremendous amount of they haven't been a big help for these guys. Derek Brown out here just getting people for tackles for a loss. That ties him with some of the greats in the entire country, in the entire NFL, with 20 tackles for a loss there now. Yeah, dude, this has been, again, we go back to the Tampa Bay game. Like, it's a lot of the similarities. Like, the defense did a lot. The offense was able to actually click a little bit. We are winning in spite of PJ, and I'm sorry to say it. Like, those.
No, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Damn it, man! All right, there
it is. There it is.
Dude, we have too many times where we get into the backfield and they just don't wrap up, and they let Mario just scramble for like an extra 10 yards, dude. Finally, thank God Marquise Haynes was there to make that play, man.
Yeah, that's on Marcus Mariota there with that, him holding onto the ball entirely too long. You can't take a sack in this situation.
You got to throw it away there. You got to throw it away. Well, thank goodness he's made some terrible decisions tonight. You want to talk about PJ having an up and down game and some questionable decision making, is that Mariota has been god awful in a couple of things, and just heaving the ball up at times. Derek Brown, we spoke with last night. We spoke with Joe Person on the beat check, and one of his predictions of the second half of the season, when he reevaluates the team, he said that he believes that Derek Brown's going to finish in the top 3 in tackles for defensive tackles. And boy, he's really had a great game tonight. He continues to impress and kind of continues to show what they saw in him when they drafted him. So we've got more reactions to come. We're going to break down the game and some of the things that have been happening, react to the finale. And we want to get your thoughts on it. The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Hang out with us. We're going to get, you know what? We're always here for you. We're here every game, every Tuesday night, the longest running Panthers podcast. And look, this is an interesting game. I'm glad the Panthers, I ended up flipping my decisions today on the radio, and I went with the Panthers to win this game at the last second. And this is oh God.
Well, so I thought he had him.
Hey, this is the game right here, right? Atlanta has one timeout.
No, it's over right here. We just got to stop them. 4th and 18. This game's over.
You got to play prevent here. This is not a scenario where you get cute. You just those zones we've been sitting in. We need to sit in them a little bit farther back.
It was
the dude. It was just a bad throw.
A hair ahead of him.
And Scott Yang, you are 100% telling the truth. This should be our official home attire, baby.
You know what's even cool?
Yeah!
There we go.
Let's fucking go.
Marquise Haynes has had a great game too. And why haven't they been playing him instead of YGM is really
YGM just played himself out of a game, out of a starting position.
Last week, you would think?
No, this week. Even this week, he's been garbage. He's had 2 misses.
All right, the Panthers are going to be able to get in a victory formation likely here. So this is a happy moment. Look, the Carolina Panthers win at home debuting the black on black on black. And the defensive front, I guess, for a team that could not generate any pressure last week, has played on a short week, has played tremendously well. I got to tell you this, though, guys. PrizePicks knew something. They knew something. They were on to something. They got some inside info, bro.
About Patterson?
Yeah, Cordell Patterson didn't even get a rushing yard at all.
Yeah, dude.
I don't even know if he got a rushing yard. I stupidly went with Tommy Tremble. That was dumb. You guys were right on that. And Terrace Marshall Jr. got his on one catch.
Yeah.
One single catch. He got that number. So, look, the Carolina Panthers are now going to move from being slated to be number 2 in the overall draft order to now one game out of first. And I think they would be tied if they were, there's going to be some things, but one game out of first place in what is a putrid NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons really 2 weeks in a row that they have been flat, and Cuckoo Boo Boo, he really, man, they got him with the jinx. They said something on the broadcast that he hit 71 in a row, extra points, and he missed 2 tonight, the last 2. So thank you, Al Michaels, for that. And look, the Carolina Panthers, they go and win the way that you're probably going to have to win. They beat the Atlanta Falcons at their own game, rushing the ball. And I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that we win. I don't want to root for losses. I just wonder. I hope. It's hard for me to believe that this team is going to be significantly good, though, down the stretch. And I think a lot of this has to do with Atlanta being bad just as much as it has us to do well. But you're happy. This has been a monster all day. Look, they're trying to score. You need to go and just kneel.
Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, just kneel it out. But it's holding.
Ike Ekwonu, kind of a tough game today with a couple of penalties. But it's fine. All right, guys, the number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Where should we start, guys? But I want to start with this, is that we were all looking forward to the black helmets, the black on black, which is good. Maybe my theory is right, Cody, is that it was the silver helmet that was the jinx on the old uniform. We win in the prime time on a short week after being super flat last week on the road. But I got to say, the star of the show for me was the end zones tonight. The digital print for in the Panthers, the black end zones. I thought they were more fire than having even the damn helmets.
I loved it. Aesthetically, this is the best game that the Panthers have had in a long time, man. Listen, we're a Panther. A Panther is a big black cat, okay? I love our blue. The white is awesome, but nothing's better than the black, man. That's how the Panthers need to look: sleek, ferocious, and ready to attack your ass, dude. That's what we need. And, dude, I've never believed in the jinx or the curse. All we need is a squad to go on the field and whoop some ass like we ought to do. And I think that tonight, again, we're going to be nitpicking through this all week. I understand that. But, look, right now we're 3-1 in the division. And I think that this is the boost that we needed, to get to the next game, man. Now we have some days off. We have some time to heal up and rest up. We couldn't hang our heads over that Cincinnati Bengals game. We had to get over it and get back to work. And frankly, I think that's the results that we're seeing right now. Panthers came out with a chip on their shoulder at home. Football weather, by the way. It's raining heavy over there. I loved it, man. This is a throwback to keep pounding Panther football.
Big shout out to Algernon Ramser with the $2 super chat. We appreciate your support. And don't forget, look for the join button underneath or by the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're on iOS, if you're on your iPhone watching, you'll have to get out of the mobile mode and go into the browser. And for $1.99 a month, you can get, if you see these cats that got all these cool tags and as well as access to continuing us to grow these emojis, these unique emojis. I mean, and that's a small thing. I know that's a loyalty thing, but really, it's a small way to continue to grow the C3 Panthers podcast and support us. We don't want to ask for money. We want to ask for support. And you can do that by subscribing to the show, being a part of the show, calling in at 252-228-5098. Don't forget, the audio podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. So that's a cool thing. And we're here every Tuesday night. And we've had a great week, man. We have been streaming all week, I feel like. We had the post game on Sunday, the Tuesday night show.
Mayfield?
What's he doing? Oh, he's headbutting people
without a helmet.
What is he doing? Why? Why would you do that?
He just needs attention. That's all.
I think he's trying to show he's a good teammate right now, which is, you know what, good for him, because last week he came in off the bench and played very reasonably well, his best half of the season. And PJ Walker started this game after last week being benched at halftime and finishing the game with a 0.0 QBR, guys. The last time that was done was by the Carolina Panthers was Randy Fasani was the quarterback that was able to get that infamous stat there. But, short week here, Mayfield was not available for the media because I'm sure he was a little disappointed. I thought that he's probably thinking, man, this is the opportunity I needed to get back in there and kind of rewrite the narrative that he messed up in the beginning of the season. PJ Walker with a bounce-back game. Not a great game, though. I think this is a typical PJ game in so many ways. The Carolina Panthers won this by running the football and by playing in the defensive front. I tell you this, they didn't win it by being locked down in the secondary. They didn't win this by Shaq had a good game, but Xavier Woods continues to have like stone hands like of Stonehenge. Stonehenge hands, right? And now I guess let's start with the hardest question: is how much? And you know what? I'm not even gonna say this. Is like was this a win that we didn't need because of the draft considerations? Let's go with this: is how much does this win bring you back to? Just 2 weeks ago, we're really starting to think, wait a second, the Carolina Panthers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They played the Falcons on the road to the wire, really were the better team, it felt like, at many points of that game. And you're sitting there going, man, you could have won. You could have been in first place last week in the division. Imagine if you win that 2 weeks ago, you win that, and you still lose to the Bengals, you win this. You're still at the top of the top in so many ways. But how much does this win, do you think it signals that the Panthers could have a late season push and try to back into the playoffs, much like they did in 2014?
Yes. I've said this for a while, man. This division, look, even if we get shellacked next time we play, which I believe, who do we play next? Baltimore?
We have a bye, don't we?
Yeah, I'm saying after the bye, who's the next team that we play? Baltimore?
So we don't have Panthers football for like 2 weeks?
I think so. Hold on, let me check. We've got the Ravens on November 20th. So no, that would be
10 days.
So. Gosh, when is the bye? Oh,
we have a late bye.
The bye is not even till after the Broncos game.
So yeah,
is that true? Holy cow!
So to answer your question, this division is bad. It's really bad, man. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we really don't even know what kind of team we are right now because we played the Bengals and get absolutely dominated. But then we've looked good against literally every NFC South opponent. So, I mean, we have to win outside of our division. We can win inside of our division, but we have to win some more of these games, man, that aren't NFC South football teams. I'm telling you, man, you may not think that this is a complete football team. I don't think that this is a complete football team.
Not even close, bro.
But I'll tell you what.
It's a bad football team.
This is still a team that can compete for the division. Straight up.
It's arguably the worst thing that could happen to us, Cody, though. Is that you're talking about it's one thing to win a few games and get us kind of, to not roll over and die, to generate kind of keeping the fan base at least somewhat on life support to a degree. But if you make the playoffs, you drop all the way into the back end of the like into 16.
So what?
That's a big drop right there, because even though you have been debating so many of these guys about who the quarterback is, there are guys that could be there maybe at 7 or 8 that you believe are just as good as the guys at 2 and 3 or 1, 2 and 3, or at least in the same range. But when you go that like back into 16, you know, the top 10 picks are the elite players in the draft. So you just got to go ahead and imagine this. Is you got to go ahead and say, how are you going to solve the quarterback position? And I know, Cody, you were just liking this because it could lead to what you want to happen.
Well, listen, the last thing I'll say, and I'll pass the mic to CK. Yeah. Listen, Panther fans should already know how this goes. You're going to want every quarterback in this draft. Oh, man, I love Bryce Young. Oh, CJ Stroud is the man. Oh, we're going to get one of those guys. And then the Panthers are going to win enough games to take you out of contention. If you don't know how this game goes, you have not been paying attention. Stop getting your damn hopes up over the draft and pull for the Panthers to win some football games. I'm telling you, there is not a franchise-changing quarterback in this draft. There are some good prospects, but none of them are like these can't-miss on, have-to-have players that instantly changes the Panthers into one. So you might as well pull for your squad.
Get ready for Jimmy Garoppolo, CK.
No
Jameis Winston.
We are
Jimmy
not
Garoppolo.
recycling. We are not recycling.
That's what's going to happen.
No, there is not a shot in the world that we are going this route again.
You're going to try to bring in a head coach and just be like, you know what? Good luck with a player that we haven't seen as hurt and PJ Walker. Good luck.
Bro, I am telling you, there is not a shot in this world. They have done this for 5 years where they have tried to recycle guys or try to get somebody who's just, oh man, he's a good player. Like, there's just no evidence that any of these, like, we're tired of this. We're tired of this getting a quarterback that's already been tossed out of his franchise in favor of somebody who's younger and better in their franchise's eyes at the very least. We are not going to do that. Now, does that mean that we're going to be getting one of the top 3 picks? I don't know. As a Panthers fan, it looks like there's a potential for us to be a top 10 or to be in the bottom 20, right? It's really hard to see where we're going to be. Even if we're in the bottom 20, we have the assets to move and make that decision to get a guy who could be the potential franchise guy. There is not a shot in hell we move forward getting another guy that's been recycled.
Look at this. Is PJ Walker. Look, Cody said, look, let him air it out. He was 10 for 16 with 108 yards. Yeah, and it was raining. It was raining. He was bad tonight. He was not good tonight. He was not good tonight.
The play calling was terrible, too.
No, it wasn't. It was fine.
No, it wasn't. We got the ball to Terrace Marshall. We got the ball.
We rushed the ball. We rushed for 200 yards, man. Like, how was that? Like, I mean, that's close. Let's see. Yeah, we rushed for over 200 yards. How are you going to tell me the play calling was terrible? We were up the whole time. Like, what else? That's like.
It could have been better. And Deontay Foreman is the man. We need to pay Deontay Foreman next year. We need to pay Bradley Bozeman next year. I mean, straight up, these guys have proven themselves to be who we want them to be, especially after you traded McCaffrey. I really like Foreman. I've been impressed with.
Look at these assholes. Look, there's a guy wearing a Baltimore Ravens jersey. Look at this crowd here behind. Look, I see a Ravens jersey. I see a Jags jersey. Let's see, a Vikings jersey. Let's see, is that an Eagle? Nope. Come on, we'll probably see some other stuff in there. You guys pick it out. It's like a interesting crowd there. But really proud or happy that this team didn't roll over and die. Yeah. After last week, we were kind of wondering if that loss last week, if it was how deflating it would be, because it was certainly deflating for the fan base, right? Is that it really felt like this is like, you look at PJ Walker, you almost felt like everything, any gains that PJ Walker and Steve Wilks made and potentially playing themselves into, better positions next year, they lost all in one stroke last week. Steve Wilks, this was a good response for him. And I'm telling you, man, Derek Brown, I feel like I'm buying his jersey. I'm buying his jersey. I've been all about him the whole time. I was worried on that play. Did you see the one where he got pushed down
and
he was
fell
running
right
on his shoulder? I was worried about that. That had to have hurt. So, all right. Let's start with first half. I guess where should we start? How do we break down this game? Because it is a trenches game. Maybe we should start with the offensive and defensive lines. And that is, you mentioned Bradley Bozeman. And that is an important name here. Is first, his deal is going to be over this year. Second, and importantly, we're going to be starting a new tradition on the C3 Panthers podcast. By the way, we're in our 10th season where we haven't missed a Tuesday. So it's not like we take these things like, this is, I guess, how do we not come up with this earlier, I guess? And on the bye week, we're going to still meet up at the regular time of the post-game show. But we're going to have a celebration, trivia games, different things. And it will all be we're going to just put some links in to a charity that is run by a Carolina Panthers player. This year, we're working right now, and we're in the midst of trying to collaborate with the Bradley and Nikki Bozeman Foundation and Sync Snacks. So we're going to be trying to do that and kind of, just find a way to continue to be here every week, but also support the team, support Panther Nation, and try to help. I won't say give back. I don't want it to be self-serving. Anyway, look forward to that, and we're going to try to do that every year going forward. We're going to identify a charity associated with a Panther player and support them. But Bradley Bozeman has been, think of this, Deontay Foreman, guess where he was running all day? Right up the gut. Right up the gut. And Bradley Bozeman, part of that.
His movement through that, but the offensive line was incredible this week. I mean, and I know many people are going to say that Icky looked rough because he had a penalty. I mean, even with those penalties, I mean, some of them were like two of them came on the same drive, and they were so far backed up that I think that there might be some ips with regard to that. I'm not worried about Icky. He's still showing up big. This entire offensive line is showing up big. Taylor Moton still seems to be a bit of a question mark with regard to this offensive line, giving up a sack there early in the game. But Deontay Foreman, tell you what, he is maneuvering that pocket like through traffic like nobody's business. One of those runs he had, it was 9, almost 10 yards, and he is just like jump cutting and getting just like he's like working these guys like a freaking maze, dude. Loved it. I'm super thrilled with what Deontay Foreman did against the number 8 running defense in the entire league. Fantastic way for this night to go when it comes to seeing progress from our defensive line and our offense getting better.
The former coaching staff, clearly no one's really fans of them. And you don't want to just be like, oh, they did everything wrong, because like you don't want to kick a dog while he's down. But there's one crazy part about this is there are a lot of players that are starting to thrive in the aftermath of that, the regime change, whether it be on Matt Rule and also on when it comes to Phil Snow. Derek Brown has just continued to improve, even though he was lectured by and kind of tried to be called out by Matt Rule last year. You get Bradley Bozeman stepped in. And I saw a story where Bradley Bozeman was talking, and he was worried that he wasn't going to be able to start it. Like this wasn't something that was just easy on him. Like, oh, I got an injury, and that's why I'm not starting. To him, I mean, I think he knew he was ready to start, and he just wasn't getting the time. Terrace Marshall Jr. Again, Matt Rule. Yeah, and Phil Snow too. If you look on maybe potentially in some other cases,
of ineptitude. They were the cancer on the Carolina Panthers football team. You see Terrace Marshall Jr. playing better. Foreman. I mean, I know we haven't seen everything yet, but Tommy Tremble has been more involved in the offense. Like all of a sudden, you get rid of these coaches that clearly had biases in favor of certain players over others, and now you're starting to see more offensive cohesion. Like that's not a surprise. And I mean, they should sue Matt Rule. I mean, honestly, they really should, man. Because I mean, the fact that now you're
starting con artist is a charlatan.
Yeah, he's a snake oil salesman. That's what
I would not. You know, if I was a college,
is.
I would not just necessarily be interested in hiring him at this point. Like, I mean, I know everybody goes, "Oh, he can pick whatever college job he wants." I don't even know about if I'm even.
Yeah,
I think he looks so bad as a head coach in the NFL. I don't even think he looks fantastic in football.
And he's never proved to be a high-level recruiter either. Like, he's been at Baylor and Temple. Sorry, but those programs aren't necessarily like, blue blood college programs. So I'm just so happy that fool is gone. I kind of want to bounce back to Steve Wilks. Like, what do we think of Steve Wilks as a coach tonight? Again, you might disagree with me, Tony. I think that the play calling is still a little bit too conservative at times. I know the rain was a factor tonight as well, but I really do think that the Panthers are at their best when when the opposing defense at least fears the threat of a shot downfield, and I feel like that just doesn't happen most of the time.
Yeah.
My name is Willie. I keep the ladies crazy and all my fans got screaming. You get the feedback.
I disagree. And you know what? Respectfully disagree. Look, I understand that PJ can push the ball like he's got an arm, but he made some bad decisions tonight. He made some bad throws that were just like in some ways, very much so like he did last week. Right. And they just didn't capitalize. I mean, there were a couple of interceptions that they had. You want to talk us talking shit about Xavier Woods having Stonehenge hands? There's a couple that hit these DBs right in the face, basically. Yeah. I think I understand, is that at the end of the day, the Carolina Panthers struck why do I always say the same things? The Carolina Panthers struggled early on with McAdoo being too pass happy. And I'm talking early in the season, right? Being too pass happy. And, like you're talking about Baker Mayfield going out there and throwing, and you're just like, why? Why are we doing this? And then, and a lot of times people are going, well, look at those plays. They actually were there. They just weren't executing. But after last week, Cody, you have to put PJ in a position to where you don't put too much on him. And you know what? They really did a good job with that early on. Is not only did they run the ball effectively, then they tried to set him up with some easy completions early. And they didn't ask him to do too much. And I felt like PJ settled in the second half to where he stopped trying to force it. And that is, and I think the pressure kind of got off him a little bit as they took a lead. I think that this game plan was absolutely fine. Rainy night. The Panthers won the line. Remember, they rushed 178 yards or more last time they played the Falcons. And they said, let's do it again. And the defense has just got to be better this week. The defense let us down the last time we played the Atlanta Falcons. So I have no problem with the way that the Panthers orchestrated this game plan. I think Foreman was fantastic. If anything, maybe the aggressiveness that you're calling for, you just don't recognize. I'm going to say recognize it like I'm not trying to say you weren't watching. What I'm saying is Chenault was involved in this game a lot in different ways.
Right.
And that was a way for us to say, hey, it's like that was the dynamic aspect of the team that we tried to integrate beyond just running it up the gut.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think our offensive line is what we really have to continue to pay attention to, right? Because they're the reason why everything is made to happen. They're not getting up crazy pressures and sacks like they have in years past. And, I mean, look, they're even letting guys like Blackshear and on occasion Chuba Hubbard.
What a run by Blackshear, by the way.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. And by the way,
a bum, man. Did you even see him tonight?
That proves my point, though, Tony, about Blackshear. Running backs are not really to be overvalued. That's why you don't pay them that much, and that's why you don't overdraft them very high. Like, you can find serviceable guys in the back half of the draft or even undrafted that are going to be able to come in and do things like that for you. But again, I just want to continue to put the championing on our offensive line. Brady Christensen needs to clean up some penalties. No doubt about that. Again, be nice to the man. This is his first year playing left guard at any level, both college or professional. So, with that noted, I think he's done an okay job.
What?
No.
Christensen. Sorry, I'm sitting here thinking.
Christensen's a left guard, and this is his first year playing that position. Other than that, man, I really do think that the trenches are what won the game for us tonight, man, on both sides of the football.
Don't let me forget. I want to continue on this offensive line just one moment, but you bring up the ability to not overinvest in running backs. That works until it doesn't in some ways, right? Is you saw look at what Mike Davis. We kind of tried to make some of that argument that he was pretty good when Christian McCaffrey was out, and then he goes to Atlanta, he doesn't do anything. Now he's in Baltimore, he can't even crack the lineup. It feels like, and then you find opportunities like this where Deontay Foreman is effective. For me, though, when it comes to what you're talking about is not over-investing in a running back, I think the timing of investing in a running back is important. It's always if you're a team that has a great offensive line, a dynamic, and you're just kind of one piece away, and you are drafted at 25 or something, and you can add a top flight running back that will just crush it for 2 or 3 years, that can really change your team. Yeah. You've seen some really dynamic backs come in and make big immediate impacts. The idea of which I understand what you're saying is that when you're bad, who cares if your running back is really good or anything, because it doesn't really matter. It's not going to make enough of the difference at that point. So I do think you should keep that in mind. My question to you about the offensive line, though, Cody, is I heard them mentioning Cam Irvin's name tonight. Who is he playing for, and why was he in there? Did anybody see that?
He might have been in there to replace Taylor Moton.
That's what I was wondering. Is that true?
Maybe I missed that.
Because they were
Cam
talking
Irvin was in there a lot.
In the broadcast, they were talking about Cam Irvin. They call him the Aquanu or the Icky Whisperer, because he is a former.
He's taking them under his wing too,
right, and trying to help them. Supreme Leader says he thinks Moton may have been injured. The offensive line was great.
On the injury report, so that would make sense.
Okay. It said Taylor didn't play tonight at all. That's what Mike
he was
Todd
definitely
said.
In there. I saw him in there at least once because he got beat.
Dang. I don't want to hear that. All right, so let's shift a little of the attention. Well, one other thing before we move to where I want to go, the defenses next is
they were playing heavy sets with an extra tackle. Says Drew,
okay,
which that makes sense. But
kudos to Steve Wilkes for getting this team focused on a short week, and not dying.
Right.
There's a lot of coaches. There are a lot of teams that would fall apart after what has happened, losing their head coach, all of this change, and then not only losing in overtime where you think you might be able to you're starting to find a little life, but then the very next game going on the road and just getting demolished on every single part of the team. In fact, and now what you did is you kind of reset and rebooted, because one of the things that happened last week, and we talked with Joe Person about this last night on the Beat Check, is Joe Person cited that he thought because I asked that loss was so bad against the Bengals that it seemed to really just be a gut punch to the fan base, to where people just were like, oh God, back to reality. Mm-hmm. This is we're about to stop talking about the season, maybe even start watching. We're talking about apathy in the post game and on Tuesday night, Cody. And we asked Joe Person last night, how is the team responding? Do you feel like they are deflated or potentially demoralized by how bad that performance was? And he said the short week, he thinks, really helped them because they didn't have time to wallow in their misery. Right. But I want to point out this, guys, is the Cincinnati Bengals are a bad rushing team. They're at the bottom of the league in rushing, and they ran all over us for 278 yards. And then a team, the Atlanta Falcons, who runs and runs and runs and runs. The Carolina Panthers defense really bounced back Marcus Mariota was the top rusher tonight for the Atlanta Falcons. 3 carries, 43 yards. Caleb Huntley, 5 carries, 32 yards. Avery Williams, 4 carries, 25 yards. So this 40, 30, that's about 75 right there. 100. We held them to 118 rushing yards and really just kind of shut that entire part of the game down. A real big defensive statement, I think, for this Carolina Panthers, forcing the Falcons to punt on their the first 4 possessions and an interception on the 5th possession, and then holding them to a field goal at the end of the second quarter. This defense really was getting it done in the first half. TK, what do you think about this performance? Because look, the Panthers defense has been suspect against the run, and the Falcons will run no matter what.
Right. I'm tired. So here's the thing is that our defense, the defensive line looked completely different than it did last week. And the Falcons are known. And the thing is like you're dealing with a different team here. Last week we were facing a Joe Burrow, who is not known to be the most mobile quarterback, right? They were missing their number 1 wide receiver, who is a superstar. And we couldn't stop Joe Mixon, who has been largely non-existent this year on their squad. And so there were holes galore. It just felt like nobody was playing with much oomph, right?
Yeah.
They came in today. They faced a mobile quarterback who was throwing some dimes until he was just overthrowing everybody. Early on, he seemed to be pretty sharp with his passes until, again, that interception. But I think another thing that benefited us is they weren't getting the ball out very quickly. And so why that's beneficial is our defensive line was able to get some pressure. Cincinnati was throwing the ball so quickly that we became so you know how people run to set up the pass? Well, Cincinnati was passing to set up the run, it felt like last week. This week was the opposite. They were trying to run to set up the pass and they couldn't do it. And it just forced them to start forcing things down the field, and it just didn't work. So this defensive line, worked as a cohesive unit, but I'm still concerned if we start to face a guy who's going to be like a Tom Brady again, or another quarterback who's very smart, very quick with the release of the ball after the snap. I think that could open up a whole issue for this defense once again. But right now, it's nice to look out at the standings and realize we're only 1 game out, and we're 3-1 in the division. So
yeah, and to that point, CK, you're talking about quarterback matchups. Lamar Jackson is probably one that terrifies me the most because of the fact that Mariota was so good at scrambling and getting away from our D line. Like, it just seems like he might be nightmare fuel against this Panthers defensive line. Quick, I want to say thank you to the Sports Blitz for the $1.99 love bomb. He says that's why I don't read too much into the pregame stats. Appreciate you, Sports Blitz. And look, man, we got 202 strong people in the chat. We finally are able to celebrate a victory tonight. Yeah, boys, we love that shit. But Big Papa, we need a nightcap, player. We should talk to the bricks in the chat, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been just a few weeks since we were able to do this, having come into the post game with a victory, but it feels like it's been forever once again. But here we are, defending the Bank of America. We were completely defeated here last year, and so far this year, they've done a pretty dang good job defending the bank. We've done a horrible job on the road, but nonetheless, this team has come in here and shown the world that they can be a good team. They can do the right things. And you've come here to the C3 Panthers podcast to discuss it, to hear what these 3 gentlemen have to say about it, to issue your own opinions on the cat calls in the chat. But I have to say, some of you haven't hit that like button yet. And because of that, I have to say one thing: subscriber shame. $195 viewers, 77 thumbs up, guys. Hit that like,
hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. You know that win, lose, or draw, we're going to be out here for you boys and girls, you Panther faithful. This is what we do, man. We are here for the C3 Panther Nation every time our Panthers play. And what are we not doing content? What night? Every day that ends with a Y, the C3
really feels
Panthers
like it at this
podcast
point.
is putting out content, man. We got the Friday Free For All tomorrow at 7 p.m. where you can make your opinion heard. Come on the show. We're going to have every Tuesday night at 9, we do our premiere C3 Panthers podcast. Be a part of the show. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to help us beat up on that YouTube algorithm, just like the Panthers beat up on them dirty turds tonight. What's up?
Who was it that said Baker Mayfield did it for attention?
Me.
Okay.
He might be in concussion protocol.
My boy sent me a text while we were talking about it, and he texted me 5 minutes ago, so I think he's still listening. Shout out Chandler Honeycutt, my man from Pirate Radio, big Panther fan, always supporting the Carolina Panthers. He said that's exactly why he did it, the attention. He just wants the attention, he texted. He said, just like the movie did a week ago with the mustache, he knew what he was doing. He wants the attention. And then he said, let's go Seahawks. Why do you say that? I don't even know what he's talking about with that. And then he went on and said, Cam Irving is our extra blocker. He's our Udonis Haslam. Shout out Chandler. Chandler, you're my man. Guys, defense was all right. One other thing. Well, actually, I'll let you guys tell me the things you need to talk about before we go to the cat calls. We're going to get right to your calls in just a couple of moments. The number's 252-228-5098. One other thing stuck out to me in this game that was finally kind of a difference. It was, and why are they, man, just when I'm trying to bring this up, they take the stats down. 2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off. On NFL.com for this game. Where is here we go. Team. We won the time of possession finally. Finally is like this is part of the reason that these games, when our team last week against Cincinnati just was stymied and just terrible, not only did the other teams just control the ball the entire time, anytime the Carolina Panthers went out there, they were just 3 and done, 3 and out. And this happened a lot when Baker Mayfield was playing, right? And this also happened to PJ a couple of times. The Carolina Panthers finally win the time of possession battle. And let's see, it is, where was it? Where'd it go? Did they take that stat down?
Oh, by the way.
34 minutes to 25 minutes. And yes, as Chandler said, the Seahawks, because we're cheering for the Seahawks because they're playing Tampa Bay in Germany.
Yeah, in Munich. And if we win, we're only one game out. We're only one back. Look, dude, this season is so bipolar. You need to not fall in love with any one outcome. If you have your hopes set on playoffs, man, that might not happen. We have to prove that we can be the team that doesn't reside in the NFC South first. On the other hand, when you look at our competition in the NFC South, You cannot fall in love with any of these quarterbacks being a Carolina Panther. I'm sorry, you just can't. That's why the most practical bit of advice that any Panther fan can get right now is just to pull for your squad. That's all you can do, and keep pounding. That's the motto. Pull for your team. They're still fighting. They haven't given up. Steve Wilkes hasn't given up. He may not be a perfect head coach candidate, but he wants this team to succeed this year. And you might as well want the same thing. Fuck, I do, Tony Dunn.
No, I'm not in I told you I've never been the type that is calling for wants us to lose from week to week, tank from tank. I think you get the draft pick you deserve. There's no need to, but I am going to say this is that year that we won Washington and against Washington and Matt Rule's first year was a victory that hurt us in the draft status a ton.
We hated
I
it.
also find it very ironic that Cody has been team tank so in the past several times, I feel like. And now he's like, oh, we got to win no matter what. Like, we got to cheer for our team. So I think there's some irony or at least some things there. But, I think the one reason is because the NFC South is winnable, right? That you're going to be interested in this. And you want the team, I want the team personally to not die because it's for my own emotional state. Like, it's just too hard to those Bengal games. They just sit hard throughout the week. We're trying to generate content. I mean, and maybe that's a little selfish on my, it's not selfish on my part. It's just me being a fan. But, I also don't want to pick 20 in the draft and finish with 8 wins and be still picking 20. Imagine that that's the crazy part. But hey, look, we have the ability to win the division. And you know what is that winning the division at this point, if we don't get a good draft pick, fuck it. At least we ruined other fan bases in the NFC South time, right? So if we win that, we end Tom Brady's career. Think about that. You win the NFC South, you end Tom Brady's career.
Yep.
You make the Saints fan who's just be non-existent, and the Falcons fans will have to just remember this game and how they have fumbled away the division lead in that. So that's going to be fun. There's some satisfaction on that point. And I do like this is that I'm cheering for Wilkes. I'm cheering for Wilkes, and I'm cheering for that, man. I don't want this team to roll over and die, and they didn't tonight. They didn't. This was a moment that really could have gotten out of hand, is that if they lose this game here, things are spiraling. They are spiraling out of control. I am nervous about the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think we win against the Ravens because
I told that to CK. We have such a problem containing Mariota. Yeah, we're gonna have some problems with.
Lamar is gonna destroy our team.
He's gonna drag his ball sack across our forehead.
So that is now. But then you get Denver. Denver is a home game. That's winnable. They stink. They've been terrible. Maybe you know what? I'm cheering for wins for because I'm a fan, right? And I want the team to win. But every win we get destroys someone else's hopes.
Yeah.
That's what I am now turning to. That is going to be my fuel and my fire to why we should win. I don't even care if we win I do want to win the division because I want to ruin Tom Brady. Boom. Do that.
Tony.
I want to beat Russell Wilson. I want to be like, unlimited. I want to fucking rule them.
Tony, I want us to win, not even to ruin the time of opposite teams. I want to ruin all the Panthers fans of good times that are actively rooting for the Panthers to lose to get a Bryce Young, to get a CJ Stroud, that have done what talk about players all year, just for us to pull out of reach to get any of them. Oh, dude, that makes me feel so good, and I continue to look forward to that, man. In fact,
And
I really hope it does.
Every win we get is a referendum on Matt Rule too. So fuck him.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
by
let's
the
go.
way, and one step closer to Matt Corral, baby. Let's
I know,
go.
you're right.
Glock 9.
But I do have a genuine concern is that I don't want to. You know how we were on kind of cloud nine after we beat the Bucks, and then PJ Walker goes ballistic against the Falcons in the second half, and you get so we kind of it was like buying in, and then you were like right when you buy in, Cody. That was how we were last week. You were like right when we buy in, you let us down. I don't think this team's very good still. I mean, I don't think they're great. I don't think they have underperformed but Dante Jackson didn't have a good game today.
No.
He didn't have a good game. Our linebacking core is, Shaq. How about props to Shaq? He had his best game of the season tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think we could, we're just not good enough to have been bad for so long for it to be meaningful. That's the other thing is like, I don't think we're at this. That's just how I feel. That's it. Sorry to say.
I mean, look, right now, there's evidence for both. There's evidence that we're a scrappy football team that can win some games down the road. Then you can make the case that we're a dumpster fire. I mean, you can also say that PJ Walker almost threw 3 interceptions tonight that could have went the other way. So
easily.
I mean, look,
like if the Falcons didn't suck, this could have been a bloodbath.
Right, and that's another thing. It's like how much of this is just that we were playing an NFC South opponent, and the NFC South, none of these teams make a grab for the actual title. I'll say this, man. Regardless of how bad it has been and could still get, I still don't think this team has stopped believing in itself. In fact, I think they believe in themselves now more than ever due to Steve Wilkes and due to some of the things that they have implemented since Matt Rule has been fired. And like I said, man, I'm just going to pull for my squad. I don't feel like I've been able to do this in a long time. I was like, all right, Panthers, let's go. Because Matt Rule and Phil Snow just provided this funk where it was like there was nothing to pull for, man. So we're going to find out soon, man. We've got some winnable games coming up, and we've got some tough matchups coming up. So we're going to find out.
Speaking of, like the holidays are coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up, and what Matt Rule was if you have like a little sister who you love dearly, and she marries a total dipshit, and you got to go through Thanksgiving. You got to hope that Thanksgiving's not terrible. You got to try to be a good brother for your sister. You got to try to be a good family member. But you know that the dipshit is always going to ruin, like it's always just a cloud hanging over. Matt Rule is the dipshit brother-in-law that you have to deal with at Thanksgiving, and you know is going to ruin what could have been a great family event. And so you know what? Is our little sister, they finally divorced the dipshit. And now Steve Wilkes is like the old boyfriend that you loved.
He's back in the picture. Yeah. He's trying to do things the right way.
Well, and you had, it's probably like you liked him a long time ago and this and that, and then they fell apart for whatever reasons. But the number's 252-228-5098. Let's get into the calls, Cody. We want to hear your thoughts. Remember, 252-228-5098. Get into the post-game show, man. We're rocking and rolling, 196 people strong.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like...
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What's up, guys? It's Chase. They should have took that trade deal for Burns. Man, he's a nice player. But he's more like like an extra nice piece for a loaded team. He's non-existent in most games. I mean, if they took that trade, they would have 3 second-round picks this coming draft, 2 first-rounders in 2024, 2 first-rounders in 2025. Man, 4 years from now, man, this team could be, a legit top-of-the-line contender with all those picks, man. Wilkes is a loser. Same loser mentality as Ron Rivera. So Rivera had Cam Newton and Sean McDermott that ride coattails of.
Really strange call to open up the post-game show. The number is 252-228-5098.
Hey, this is Michael Garinger holding it down in Tennessee again.
What's up,
as a
Michael?
Panther fan, and I don't know what to think about this team. Like 1 week they're inept, and the other week they're actually playing pretty good. So I don't even know what to think. Keep pounding.
Inept, and last week they took a nap, but they woke up this week, right? From inept napping to awake and fighting. I was reading something recently, and I'm a historian, and so I'm always reading stuff obviously about the past, and they were like, this person they thought it was Henry Lawrence. He's a South Carolina rice plantation owner and stuff like this, but his daughter got smallpox and they thought she was dead, and they were about to call it, and then the doctor, everybody's crying, it's oh, she's dead, and then they were like, oh, she might be, is that a breath? So they're and she lived, and they almost basically were threw her out, put her in the grave prematurely. I mean, I know they weren't just going to dig the hole right that second. The Panthers, man. I mean, is there some life in them? Is there some breathing that, hey, we wrote them off for dead after last week?
So the first caller talked about not trading Brian Burns. And look, I think that Joe Person last night, Tony, he made a great point, right? That you don't have anyone on the other side of Brian Burns. Granted, Marquise Haynes balled out tonight, but again, you don't. He's a piece. You don't even say nothing. He's a rotational piece. You don't have a guy that you can bookend Brian Burns with that is really going to be able to consistently get a pass rush for you off to the opposite edge. So if you really are going to trade Brian Burns, you're basically having to commit to drafting not one but 2 defensive ends, or have to fill one of those spots via free agency, and that's a rough call, man. I mean, look, I personally believe that we did the right thing. I know all those picks were very enticing, but yeah, Joe.
But they're futures. They're futures.
I was leaning towards that anyway, but last night on the beat check, Joe Person saying that really kind of brought it home for me, is that, you only have so many draft picks that you can allocate to certain positions. Right. And why have it all go towards defensive end when you could use another linebacker? You could use another tight end. You could use another safety.
And that's a second-round pick and a third-round pick. That's where they hit tight ends. We don't. One other thing to think about this, Cody, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, is that while we're disappointed in this season, right, and how it turned out, the team, we really believe that and I think largely a lot of our disappointment comes from a team that we believe has underperformed its talent. That we believe that there is actual talent on this team, and they just haven't played to their capability. Unlike on the other side of the ball tonight, a team that is really sort of kind of devoid of a lot of talent has overplayed, right? Has played above their talent level throughout this season. And I think we should not forget that one of the things that Matt Rule, if we're going to give any credit to him, is that he came in and took over a defense that was aged, that really who's on this squad defensively other than Shaq Thompson that he inherited? He went and unconventionally went 8 rounds where he picked all defensive players one year. And we got young and put some real talent in some real spots. Derek Brown, a Horn, Chin. There is a core on this defense with Brian Burns. Oh, Brian Burns. Brian Burns is Brian Burns and Shaq Thompson are the legacy players before Matt Rule. Brian Burns is young though. So this defense, like if you're a coach that's coming in here, a new coach, and you bring in that offensive minded coach, he's sitting there going, man, if I get a decent defensive coordinator and give him one more piece, this defense we can rock with, and we can get by. It might not be immediately a top 5 defense next year or something until we get a premier player on the other side of Brian Burns, but it's easily going to be a top 12 defense under the right circumstances. And you put an offense together that's got some capability, some life to it. It just helps the defense so much. That's been the problem too with the defense. It's not that they're even bad. It's just like when your offense doesn't score, the other offense gets to do whatever they want. They can run, they can pass, if you're ahead every now and then, you can use Brian Burns to his ability and say, in fact, when we were at the end of this game, I saw someone in the chat say, get ready, because this is where we get to pin our ears back. We know they're passing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you can get your defense in some more friendly situations that mask even some of their deficiencies. So I think the talent on this team is on the defensive side of the ball. And the question is, does anybody know how long we have Ioannidis for? Because he played fantastic tonight.
I have some updates specifically about Ioannidis. Ioannidis he's in crutches and has a boot on his leg.
Yuck.
And everybody is basically saying that the belief is that Dante Jackson has a torn Achilles. It is not confirmed yet, but that is what's
feet.
What about DJ?
DJ, I haven't heard anything about him. DJ did finish out the game though.
Yeah, he came back. Dante's feet. You would think he only weighs like 180 pounds. You would think with the feet problems. What do you say? The feet problems he has? That he would be like a 280-pound offensive lineman always dealing with this. That's the thing, is like anytime you get an offensive lineman that gets a foot injury, like, shit, this dude's heavy as hell. That's like not good for them. Dante, these when we say lower body injuries, they have been below his knees. The entire time it's been turf toe, ankles, Achilles. And whose era is Dante? We probably should not have extended Dante Jackson. I hate to say, what I mean? Like he's a good additional piece on the team, but he's not a piece. The piece. He's kind of like Marquise Haynes. It's like, hey, it's a nice player to have, but he's not the guy. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Dr. Rosen.
Happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
It is after midnight.
It is. Technically, I know exactly when my real birthday is. It's in 11 out. Well, no, almost 24 hours. I was born at 11. This is crazy, guys. I know you. This is, why I got these tats right here.
Yeah, you've, I think you might have told us a few times.
11/11 at 11:11 p.m. So that's when I was born. And today is my birthday, 41 years young, and having a good time hanging out with my best friends talking about Panthers football. A lot easier than us getting blown out.
Listen, it's a weight. Like here, it's so like I don't know. It's so difficult to explain because we all know this feeling, but it's like you can breathe lighter, right? It's just it's a sense of relief that we aren't having to go into the week explaining to people why we lost. Right. What happened?
And not playing again for like 13 days, and we're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have a lot of time now. Is it 13 days?
or whatever, 10.
Hey, Mr. Lightning 20 says 11/11/1911. Happy birthday, Tony. It's not that old.
Actually Actually, you guys don't want to. There's only one. I've been trying to figure out if my lucky number is 11 or 1. There's only one way that you could have more ones in your birth date, or maybe 2 ways. 1911 gives you an extra one, right? Like if I was born in 1911, I'd have one more 1 in my birthday. Yeah. 1111 AD would be one, and 2111 is another way. But I'm pretty much maxed out at ones other than those dates. Good call. And you know what is 2 years ago, I felt like I was born in 1911. Now, rejuvenated, back to life. Take care of yourselves, folks, and switch to Miller Lite instead of IPAs, even though I love IPAs. 252-228-5098.
Panthers podcast brothers, how y'all doing? Payback is a bitch, ain't it? G, come on, CA. Payback is a bitch. Fuck Atlanta. I'm at work right now, and I checked the scores, 22-9. So apparently we got this game. I'm saying this right now, man. If we don't fucking sign Foreman to next year, I'm gonna fucking throw up. That boy was running the rock. What about Brown?
Yeah,
Brown made me eat crow. I thought that motherfucker was a bust. That boy played his fucking heart out tonight, man. Oh my God, man. Like Atlanta, they got lucky as shit the first time we played them, but we about to be 3-7. I feel good. You know, hey man, I swear if we would have ran the rock more against Cincinnati, we probably could have won something, man. The defense played pretty damn good too, man. Hey, Horn got that interception, man. Ooh, that shit was beautiful, man. But hey, man.
Terrible.
Keep pounding, y'all. Keep pounding. Woo, Payback's a bitch.
Well,
hey, man, let me give y'all some numbers on Deontay Foreman. Versus Atlanta this year, 57 carries, 248 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Let's go.
Dude.
Numbers.
Did you hear them talking about his father? Well, so
and his brother.
I didn't hear the brother part.
Yeah, his brother died in a trucking accident.
I thought
I heard that right. Correction.
His dad died in a 18. This was crazy, and I didn't want to.
It was
tweet.
either his dad or his brother. I know
his
that
dad died. It said they said his dad died in an 18-wheeler.
Right.
And
I haven't heard this story, so this is
me either.
all.
And I didn't want to tweet about it because
his dad.
You don't want to. Well, and you don't want to be a lie. But to me, and now I'm saying I don't want to tweet about it. I'm actually going to say what I thought at the moment. It's probably just as bad. But like, how crazy is it that if you're driving the 18-wheeler and you die?
Yeah, normally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that's what I mean. Like, I was like, I mean, I don't want to go. I'm not that. Right. I guess I don't know whatever the word is for being like interested in bad stuff to go find out. But that's kind of like, gosh, it's like what happened? I don't even want to. Somebody brought this up. Somebody asked this: what was the number one song, Tony, when you were born? And maybe we're on to something. I just looked it up, and
Madonna.
I wonder. Oh gosh, that would have helped. That would explain some things too. But this kind of explain. You know how like maybe we're onto a new theory where the song when you're in the month you're born that's number one has an influence on the tone and temperature of your life, because in November of 1981, the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in America was Olivia Newton-John's "Let's Get Physical." Physical, let's get physical. I was like, oh my gosh, man, this maybe explains so much about my fucked up mind. Next call.
Hey, C3 family, this is Panther Billy from Greensboro calling. It's nice to get this win tonight. I thought we were going to damn blow it here in the fourth quarter. Still a minute 50 left, but we should be able to run the clock out. As much as I want a high draft pick, it's a lot better not to go through the stress of losing and having all your friends at work talk crap to you for being a Panthers fan. Y'all keep it real.
That's exactly what I
Everybody
just
like and
said.
subscribe. Keep doing this good work. And we'll keep pounding till next week. Y'all have a good one.
That's almost a recital of exactly what I just talked about.
Yeah. And, I understand, like I don't work with in the place I work at, there's not a ton of people that are like overly super football fans. But there is this one guy, and he's like, very intelligent. And like, what I mean by this is like, he is like, his degrees come from very big schools. Not the guy but he went to Ohio State and Vanderbilt. But when he talks to me every Monday or every Wednesday, I'll be like, and we don't talk very much, and he'll go, how was that post-game show? Mm-hmm. And he's not really a giant football fan. He's just being nice. And I'm like, God, and he's not poking fun at me. And I'm like, God, like miserable. On Pirate Radio, they have the radio station I go on in Greenville, North Carolina. They have a post-game show, and they do very much. This is what I modeled our post-game show, is every caller served that type of attitude. And one of my good buddies I've known him since I was in kindergarten, is the host of it. And the thing that annoys them the most is, and particularly with teams that are like after a loss, is like the first thing, and it's just a natural caller thing. How you guys doing? And they're like, we're fucking miserable, Mo. That's what they're like, okay, I get, like, and they always joke about like, that's not how you lead in when Scotty Montgomery was your coach for 3 years and you haven't won but 4 games in 3 years or something like that. So this is just nice that we're not, when he asked me that, I'm not like, oh, we're miserable. I'm just like, hey, decent, happy to not be terrible. So.
And I wanted to bring up this comment by Panthers devotee. He's brought this up a bunch now. He says that we're missing the point. We only ever run the exact same 8 plays over and over in the run game. So basically it's saying that, we're running the football really effectively, but it's still not very
creative or complex.
Yeah.
How many running plays are there, though? You run up the middle, you run to the outside. Like, what is there?
Well, it looks like, to me, it looks like the same play, but different options. So, like, basically they use it as as it's complex in that it's the same play, but you can choose whether you're going to give it to, because I don't know if you noticed, it was almost every time there was emotion, it was Chenault running, and it looked like he was acting like he was getting ready to get the ball, and he would do this like little dip with his head, like he's getting ready to get the ball, and it was every play. And it was like you could see them run 2 or 3 different run plays off of that exact same formation. And that just seemed to be every single play they were running.
Who cares, man? Who cares? And when I mean that, I'm not like trying to dismiss the comment.
Right.
We rushed for 232 yards.
Sure.
Like, there's a point where you say this is that we're going to keep doing it until you stop us.
Can I give you some more Deontay Foreman stats? Carolina's Deontay Foreman has rushed for 100 yards 3 times in his last 4 games. The Panthers had 3 individual 100-yard rushing games in their previous 46 games combined. 2 by McCaffrey and 1 by Chuba Hubbard. That should tell you everything that you need to know, man. G. Cavassier called in. So happy about Deontay Foreman. He's been a breath of fresh air, man. And more importantly, we had the great Jonathan Stewart on this podcast.
He kept mentioning him.
Yeah, he's kind of like a throwback to Jay Stu, though. Just pound them. Punch them in their mouth, down their throat. Just hit them and hurt them and keep on doing it until they don't want to tackle his big 230-pound ass no more.
And this is where I was kind of pushing back on your statement about trying to push the ball and air it out with PJ, is like, we're not a finesse team. We're not a team that's going to just make things, like, if we're going to win games, we're going to win them the Ron Rivera way, and that is just get nasty and get down to the wire and win. And I think a continue, and I don't know, I do want to jump on Chuba Hubbard. I don't like Chuba Hubbard. I don't think he's been he got so many opportunities and he has not been that great at all or even good. But one of the things that's crazy is, maybe it's the injury while he's not that involved right now. But why was Deontay Foreman not the number 2 back the whole time? Even when we had Christian McCaffrey, again, goes back to these types of things. The number's 252-228-5098. Look, it's a great night when, the calls, we don't even got that many calls, folks. So if you got something to say, you better get in now because the show might not be that long. Let's go to the next call.
Hey, C3 family, this is Panther Billy from Greensboro calling. It's nice to get this win tonight. I thought we were going to blow it here in the fourth quarter. Still a minute 50 left, but we should be able to run the clock out. As much as I want a high draft pick, it's a lot better not to go through the stress of losing and having all your friends at work talk crap to you for being a Panthers fan. Y'all keep it real. Everybody like and subscribe. Keep doing this good work. And we'll keep pounding till next week. Y'all have a good one.
Keep pounding. I mean, look, a bunch of Falcons friends, friends who are Falcons fans. And every time we play, they always, they're ready to talk some shit as soon as they can. You know what I mean? And now we get to dish it back to them, man. I think everybody has those coworkers that give them some shit, and then we ultimately end up coming back. And I mean, listen, we always Falcons tough.
Yeah,
they always play us tough. It's that division rivalry thing, CK. Like there really is something to it.
Yeah, it's something to it.
Yeah, they know your strengths and weaknesses.
Well, here's what I like. The most painful thing about where we're at right now, and it's so easy to do this, but we should honestly be 5-5 right now, and in the lead for this division. And the reason I say that is because you think about that Browns game won. That was that should have been won because of a penalty, and then we got unlucky, with Cade York coming in here as a rookie on his first game, bombing an incredible kick to win the game for the Browns. So that should have been a win for us. Then you go back to the Falcons game when Eddie Pinheiro missed 2 field goals that are very winnable or makeable field goal attempts. And it just resulted in essentially us losing those games. So there's 2 potential wins that we just had right there. Now, if we include that one tonight, we'd be 5-5 and 4-0 in the division if people were actually executing and we weren't having the rest of the games for us early on in the season. So it's tough to look back and think that, but it's also tough to when you look at it that way, it doesn't feel as hopeless as it was,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. More calls for that. You want to hit another one?
Yeah. Let's do
it. What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Just driving back from the game. What a win. Let's fucking go. I called in on Tuesday, and I said, if there's going to be any hope about this team, it starts today. It's a good fucking win by the team. Foreman, offensive line, defense, great. PJ was a little bit of a game manager today, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, wow, we got lucky on some occasions, but Mariota played a bad game. Kudos to the defense. And yeah, keep pounding. C3, you already know the vibes. Let's fucking go, baby.
Yeah, I hope people didn't misinterpret. Well, I don't care. You can misinterpret. You can interpret. I said these things, so I got to live with them. The Falcons just weren't good. So, but I will take that. I will take us playing a better game than we have played in weeks, in a while, and the other team struggling at the other side. We need these breaks. We're not good enough to, I'm not going to be like, I'm not, it's kind of like, I'm not going to leave no money on the table.
Yeah.
I'm not going to feel bad about picking up $20 off the ground. Just not going to feel bad about it.
Right.
Like, let's just do it. And the Carolina Panthers, like Olivia Newton-John said in 1981, tonight they said, let's get physical. And the offensive line was physical for the first three, well, actually through the entire game. But the defense, I feel, really just tuned it up at the end or towards the end. I know that we made some mistakes defensively in that last moments, but we have not seen this defensive line impose their will on a team all season, I don't think. And maybe we were just close. We were right there a couple of times. And, there may be the stats. I wonder, does anybody know how many sacks we got in this game? Brian Burns should have had a sack, and then somehow Mariota threw it, and the guy and Cordero Patterson caught it like right beside him, like where he just blasted these dudes. I mean, these guys were getting after it.
Dude, I was kind of hoping that one that was that ridiculous heave that he threw at the end was going to end up being an interception.
Yes,
but
I know. Because then he ran it all the way back too.
I saw him throw that, and I at that moment I felt like it was definitely not an interception, but like I thought that was absolutely hysterical to see him throw that like that.
Yeah, 5 sacks according to Daryl Zero Chill. By the way, thank you, Daryl Zero Chill, always a longtime listener and supporter of the podcast. Brad Holt's in here, Jay Mack, John Callishaw, KPM. We've seen you around these parts. The Real AP rocking the green tag. He is a C3 super fan. New Daddy-O in the house. He said, we played to Atlanta's strengths and dominated, stopped their run game, and ran on their eighth ranked run defense. The Panthers won. This is how you're going to win if you're the Panthers right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out there and PJ just throw 300 yards and us air the ball out 40 times. In fact, if anything, the Falcons should be commended. Arthur Smith should be commended for knowing what his team is capable of.
Yeah.
And he's like this. He's like, we're going to run on 3rd and 9, and like we have a better chance of getting that first down running the ball on 3rd and 9 than we do passing on 3rd and 9. I wish we had some Atlanta Falcon fans in the chat. When do the Falcons start going, maybe it's time to go to Desmond Ridder? Isn't that his name?
Desmond Ridder, yeah.
I
thought
Mariota is just ineffective. His arm looks cooked. He can't throw. Like, it's like some of the. I heard Al Michael. Oh no, I was listening on the radio. I was picking my kids up from my girls from dance, and the guy said, "Well, the ball eventually got there."
Yeah.
I was like, God, man, that's the worst thing I've heard. CK, should they make a change?
I mean, it's so hard to say that they should, because like Mariota hasn't been the sole reason they've lost. Like they've had unfortunate circumstances that are surrounding their situation, like injuries and really their defense not really having a healthy secondary and stuff. But I saw him tonight and he was making some really good throws. So I don't know that I would say
really
that it's
bad
that
ones
point.
too, CK.
He did, but I think that you got to look at the fact that they are in a position to potentially win the division. They were number 1 in the NFC South. As granted, again, not a great and most competitive division, but they were number 1. Do you really want to risk that cohesion to give up, to try to see what your quarterback has?
I don't know how it could be much worse if you're them. And when I say that is like, I guess you're worried more about turnovers, but Mariota did the things tonight he's not supposed to be doing, which is turn the ball over, look foolish at these times. And look, you got Kyle Pitts, and he's sitting there on the shelf. Those mugs took a field goal. They could have taken a couple of, maybe 1 or 2 shots at the end zone at the end of the second quarter. If they would have managed the clock a little bit better, I think if they would have ran up and clocked it, they could have gotten 2 chances. I don't know if that would have worked based on the downs. But even Al Michaels and them were like, man, I would like to take 1 shot. And Kyle Pitts, who had an incredible season last year, is just sitting there languishing on the shelf. I almost wonder, how could it not? I mean, you have a team that can run the ball. How could the Ritter guy be that much worse in so many ways? And Cody, you mentioned that us pushing the ball down the field. I just remembered this is, you remember when PJ chunked it into the end zone into double coverage, and it hit that DB like in the
right
face.
in the hands.
Yeah,
it was like two or three times.
So I don't think that's a good idea either.
Being intercepted.
I
mean,
think
know,
we did
man.
exactly what we needed to do.
It's when you see what we did against Atlanta the first time, and you see that, what a guy like Terrace Marshall Jr. is capable of. Even that first out route to DJ Moore, even that first out route to DJ Moore, like, they were on time, and PJ was throwing that ball before DJ even got out of his break. And it was a perfectly placed pass. I just think the longer that we let PJ get on rhythm with this receiving core, let them heat up more and more, and take some more chances and try and put some more games away a little bit earlier than we have.
What's kind of bizarre about PJ, Cody, is that, like, he either makes the most incredible throw or the worst throw. Like, I mean, he either puts this ball like on the money and like on a rope in a spot, like that first catch that DJ had was like a perfect ball, man. Like, if anything, maybe he threw it too perfectly and DJ couldn't run after the catch. He had to go like out of bounds, or, what I mean? Not like it was like, but he throws these passes. Sometimes you're like, man, that is an incredible play. And then he'll go and throw it ridiculous, like straight to the other team. So he is a boomer bust guy. It is either incredible or awful.
He is the only Panther quarterback that we have seen boom. Everyone else bust. Consistent.
I mean, I don't want to sit him. I think it was kind of gutsy was it gutsy? Here, I want the callers. We're going to the next call. We'll take two calls. Right now, there's only 4 calls left. So if you want to get in, now's the time. 252-228-5098. We asked if, we were talking about Baker Mayfield, Cody, about like why he was upset potentially. Did Steve Wilkes make the right move? Might have been a question we could have asked yesterday or 2 days ago in bringing PJ back after a 0.0 game. Was this ballsy? Was this a ballsy move, like a confident ballsy move by Wilkes trying to win and put himself in the best position, or did he do this because he was kind of told by Tepper and them, like, we're kind of done with Mayfield. We don't need him playing those 70% of snaps. We need that draft pick. Was this genius confident? Was this Wilkes stay the course move, or did he kind of backwards into the right move? Next call. Oh, it's an empty call, so next call.
Hey, this is Jordan Lewis from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm actually leaving the game right now. That was a hell of a game. Defense played nice. A very talented team. And you got the potential to be a good team in the future. We just need to fix a few things, and we'll be rolling. Keep pounding.
Gotta feel good. Panther fans were a little concerned after last week of making the trek in the rain on Thursday night. If you didn't have any concern as a fan driving from Raleigh, that's not even that bad of a drive. That's like a 2-hour drive from Charlotte. But imagine, if I would have gone 4.5, that takes a commitment. Every person driving to that stadium and walking in was like, is this going to be the most miserable night? Rain, clouds, terribleness. That ride, God bless you guys. Thank Jesus. Goodness exists in the world. because that ride would have been so awful, soaking wet, mad as fuck. And now at least you could say this. You saw the best end zones, the best uniforms, and you were the badass fan who actually went to the game in the rain. Do you know how cool you get to be? You don't even have to look, don't admit that you had that trepidation in your real heart. I know in your heart of hearts you had a little of that trepidation going into that game, like, is this going to be awful? But you get to go tomorrow and all throughout the weekend and wear your Panther gear and be like, I went to that game, motherfuckers. I believed the whole time. Love it. That ride has to have been is so much better. Oh my God. Imagine how miserable it would be. Next call.
Yo, my chocolate espresso, what's up? Yo,
what up?
Great game, but they need to bench YGM. The dude's not good. I would start Marquise Haynes or go out and sign Dominican Sue out there, or another defensive end.
Oh, we need a tackle now if I had not a shirt.
But I don't know. Great win. Keep pounding.
Two things on that is he brings up Marquise Haynes and everybody's been shitting on YGM. Is this YGM's second year or third?
This is his. We drafted him the same year as Brown, so this is his third.
Okay, then you can start to give up on him because that's when you know is like in year 2. Look, Cody Ely as a rookie had one of the most phenomenal games in the history of the Super Bowl. If the Panthers would have won that Super Bowl, Cody Ely would have been the MVP.
Right.
He had basically the identical game of Von Miller, who got the MVP in that game. And then he was given the starting job and just completely fizzled out in his second year. The second year, I don't judge a defensive end in their second year. Year 3, though, is when guys are supposed to be starting to make the turn. And YGM isn't. And on top of that, he had such a bad game last week where he had penalties, right? So it's not even just play, it's mental errors too. And then Marquise Haynes is sitting there saying, man, I'm on the shelf. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. And he was a man on fire tonight. And Cody, we were watching the final minutes of the game, and you were like, oh, man, he almost had it. If we could just wrap up. But he was making a difference, and he made the final sack of the game. He earns that spot. Why he hasn't had it from the beginning is something I want to know. Again, when it comes to Matt Rule, so many errors and favoritism, nepotism when it comes to some of these players, I think kind of showed. And now with Ioannidis out, what happens? And what's odd for me is in the last 2 years, maybe every year we've gotten a darling defensive tackle who was a late round pick that we thought was pretty good.
Right.
Bravion Roy, Nix, or whatever. Whatever. You guys tell me the names. But I remember oh man, we found a guy who can be a contributor. We haven't seen any of those fools this year. The only time the middle has been good, it's been Derek Brown and Ioannidis. So what do we do now? That's a concern. A team that's not great against the run. Now you lost a piece that's been really contributing. How much can Derek Brown do by himself?
Right.
That's a worry. Who's going to fill that spot, guys?
I don't know. And, I even said, we share our little C3 chat that we have, and we watch some of this football. And I even made the point that it was like, we talk about needing another defensive end, and we do need another defensive end.
Sure.
But we need more interior pressure too, man. I think part of the reason why, I think Derek Brown and Brian Burns are in very similar position on the interior and the edge respectively. Like, those are the dudes. You're going to allocate all your offensive line help to those guys, right? But, man, remember when we had KK Short and Star Latulele? Like, and we've said this before.
And then you had Love, too. Remember we cycled in Love and stuff like that?
We did not know We did not know how much Starla Tulele meant to this team until after he was gone. And
that's why I love Derek Brown.
But that's what I'm saying. Imagine how much better these guys can be if you add another disruptor on the interior of that O-line, especially when you're in an offensive happy NFL. A quarterback needs a clean pocket to be able to step up into and throw the ball.
Tyron Green's got it.
If you have a dominant defensive defensive interior, they are destroying that pocket, making the quarterback move, and letting your line play fast, sideline to sideline. That has always been the Panthers' defensive recipe for success. And we do need another guy next to our man Derek Brown.
Even if it's not just a guy beside him, you could have used another guy just period, because right now you're asking them to play every snap.
Right.
Like, I mean, if they get, like, Derek Brown went out with illness last week and we're like, oh, well, what are we going to do now? Well, give up 5 touchdowns. Tyron Green says this, we forgot this name, who was very good in the preseason. McCall. Next call. McCall, next call.
Hey, what's up, C3? Got that dub. It's the real AP.
What up?
Hey, I'm all for it, man. I'll take a W any day. A win is definitely better than a loss. I don't care if we are 3-7. I don't give a shite. But my only thing is, I was sitting there as I was watching the game, is like, we got the ball back on their side of the field right before halftime. And they chose like 3 running plays, like that conservative shit. I'm like, man, put your fucking foot on their throat. Let it go, man. Do something other than selling or settling for a field goal that, I mean, you know, may or may not go. But, I mean, Pinero did redeem himself a little bit tonight. So that first one, man, it shanked off. Boom. And I was like, oh, my God, man. I said, here we go again. But anyway, y'all talk about that, man. Good show. I'm still watching. Y'all are awesome. Peace out. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. I mean, yeah, I said the same thing earlier. I do think this can – look, I hear you, Tony, and that when you're rushing the football like we're doing, keep doing it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hear that completely. But what I'm saying is that if the Panthers actually want to be a Cinderella team and just by the skin of their teeth sneak into the playoffs, I think you're going to out these games more. And I think you're going to have to pick and choose your times where you want to be more aggressive than you are. And that's that worries me about Steve Wilks is he's very much in that Ron Rivera type of mindset. Let our defense play fast and hard. You know, if you have to make them punt, that's fine. Our defense will do what they need to do. Pound the football, run the football. And, yeah, that might be a recipe for the Panthers to squeak out a few this year. But I really think that we would benefit from letting PJ do what he did in that first Atlanta game, push the ball downfield a little bit more, get the ball to Terrace Marshall Jr., and I really do think that that's going to open up your running attack even more if they have to fear you going down the field like that.
Here's where you're wrong. 2 nights in a row, 3 nights in a row, you've been wrong. You started off, if you want to be a Cinderella story. We're not even close to being a Cinderella story. We just need to win.
I disagree.
Right?
I think we're.
But like we just needed a win, and right now this was the pathway to get us the win. You didn't need to. You're right. You said if you want to be, and that's like if we roll up another win or 2, then yes, then that's what you're going to have to do if it's going to be meaningful. There's going to have to be something like this. But right now, you could actually win this game by just running the ball and controlling the clock. And I don't even feel like it was conservative. I just felt like this is like, why stop? It wasn't like, oh, we could have we left everything on the table. We were getting first downs. We were getting, in the past, I understand that is like, you remember when like we go back to the game where we lost to the Giants last year, and then they were like, oh, we got to run the ball and then they came over and overcompensated. Last week against the Bengals, we tried to run, we didn't get anything. Then we tried to pass, we didn't get anything. This week, we ran the ball, we got a first down. And then we ran the ball again, we got a first down. We ran the ball again, we got a first down. Like, there was no need to do the pushing it down the field. You're right, if there is going to be something down the road that is more meaningful than just one win, that's going to have to be part of the equation. But right now, we just need a W.
Yeah, and we've been getting these W's, man. We just need to continue to do it. I don't know. I want to see more aggression. I think that PJ does have the ability to air the ball out. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we're going to do going forward.
CK, you said you disagree. They're a Cinderella story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying. I disagree with the statement that it's not possible for them to be the Cinderella story.
Oh, it didn't. That's not what I hope. That's not what I said.
Well,
we don't even need to be thinking Cinderella right now. We just need one. Cinderella is 3 or 4 weeks from now.
Well, you said we're not a Cinderella story, so that's where I was saying there's when you're expressing that when you look at the potential for what could happen, which isn't going to happen. I'm just going to set the expectation now so the optimism doesn't build from here, right? But the idea that a team like ours can go from 2-7 to making it to the playoffs at all, and then maybe if there's a way that they can put some stuff together and make this team feel confident or competent in any way, I mean, I think that there's a potential they might even win at least one of the playoff games, which doesn't help a lot for our draft capital, but I tell you what, as a Panthers fan, to go back to the playoffs, it would be an astronomical feat, given where we started this year.
And not to poo-poo and dismiss your point either, Cody. I don't want to just completely just say, I just thought what we were doing was working, but there was potentially a moment, if you think, and where there's credibility in your position here, is that they pulled within a score at the end of the game. And maybe you're running the ball so effectively, maybe a play action pass and like put a dagger in them later on. But I think at the same time that PJ, they tried a couple of those things early in the game and he screwed them up so bad that like, that's kind of cool in theory, but like he almost threw 3 picks doing that. So, but the question is, and look, and you mentioned Ron Rivera, you're talking about a team that lost at home to the Vikings last week by a field goal. That messed up at the end and played it. I won't say I don't know. I didn't watch it. My friend was telling me about the game, but a penalty, a bad timeout by Ron Rivera, and a bad challenge. It's like the Ron Rivera recipe: a bad challenge, a bad timeout, and then a penalty, and you lose the game by 3. Right at the end, when you were up 10 in the fourth quarter.
Yep, that is the
Ron Rivera. You gotta put them away, and sometimes maybe our defense. Maybe we gotta recognize our defense isn't strong enough to just put suckers away like 2013, and you got to do both. So, I say this is like we'll take this win how we can get it. But you're right, is that, look, you're not going to be able to do that against the Ravens next week.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a much more diverse attack, and PJ's going to have to be a lot better than 10 completions or whatever he had.
I also think the rain played something to do with it, too.
Last call, actually.
A 3-hour drive from Tampa to Miami after Cam Newton throws 5 interceptions. You got a little kid laughing at you with his grandma and a hot ass son, drunk as hell. That's not a good drive. Al the Sailor. Peace, guys. Thank you, guys.
Peace of love, Al. Yeah, man. He knows that feeling to make a trip to a game that's not worth it. So.
Yeah, tough. It's tough. Oh, think about this: is poor Nick, who has come from Massachusetts several times and never seen a win. Driven from Massachusetts, these guys.
He's coming down here
in December.
Yeah, he's going to be here for the Steelers game.
We better get his win there. All right. Those are the calls.
Or he better not jinx us. No, just playing.
Those are the calls right now. We'll kind of just finish out. We got a couple of things, like some housekeeping to do. We're going to do our dab on them picks, play of the game. We'll do our tell of shame picks. And I just want to start with the last thing. Is there any kind of final perspective that you want to offer that maybe we haven't talked about enough, or that you feel like just needs to be mentioned? Not a long discourse, but anything to it.
I just want to gloat. I want to gloat and tell y'all I told you that this team was going to be more competitive in this division than everybody made it out, man. After the Bengals game, I was feeling bad too. I remember, I'm not erasing history, but I knew that this team was not going to be out of it after one bad loss to Cincinnati. That this division is so bad that this is going to happen, man. And we have a good chance to beat New Orleans again. We have a good chance to beat Tampa again. I don't know, man. I just keep pounding, man. That's all I want to say. Keep pounding. Pull for your damn squad. The draft is going to be here soon enough. Okay, and you're going to know where we're picking. You're going to know what players you want to draft and this and that. That time will come. Right now, pull for your squad while you have a squad for that's at least being competitive, man. That's all I want to say.
CK?
It's just a weird difference from where he's been the past 2 years. From Cody. This is not, by the way, I want to make this clear. I think it needs to be said. And I think Cody can if you can't agree to this, Cody, then you're clearly out of the realm of reality. Your only hope is that we're competitive so Matt Corral has a shot at playing on this team.
True.
It is not about whether you want this team to win. It has nothing to do about this team winning.
Can both of those things not be true?
Because in the past 2 years, you've wanted us to tank. Like, you've wanted us to lose the past 2 years. Like, you can't come around and say that you haven't. You have been angry when we haven't tanked in the past 2 years.
Cody knows how to take a temperature of the room, bro. He'll be like this.
No, it's not the temperature of the room. It's that I follow these college quarterbacks closely. And I feel like there are quarterbacks that have been in previous drafts that represented a much higher than the guys in this draft. So why tank for a player that doesn't have all of the elite tendencies that you want in a quarterback? And yeah, there's no shame in my game. I want to see Matt Corral given a legitimate chance before we throw away the baby with the bathwater. I have no problem owning that.
That's why I mean, look, it's like it's like a win-win for Cody. This is like he gets to be the guy that loves the team and doesn't want, and then he gets what he wants. 2 calls snuck in. We'll get you real quick. We're gonna sneak you guys in.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Rosen.
Oh, what's up, my man?
Charlotte, North Carolina. Rob. But I want to talk about Rule and would we be maybe, where we are right now? Or are we exactly where we want to be?
Is that
I feel like there's a joke coming.
Or he just didn't hang up the phone.
We're just going to start hearing him and just talk shit about C3. We'll see what these have to say about
I hate those guys.
The one thing we brought up and we talked about this in the last couple of nights is I know people are not hype on Justin Fields just yet, and he had one good game, like really good game. Rule, we should have picked Fields. We should have picked Fields. Is that could have been a pathway to not be in the same predicament. Even if you would have traded for Sam Darnold, you start Sam Darnold the whole first season until he gets hurt, and then you put Fields in. Whether or not Fields Yeah, whether or not Fields turns out to be good or not is irrelevant in so many ways because Matt Rule still got fired. So if he was bad, he would still have gotten fired.
Right.
I mean, I just really think that would have put us in a different pathway. All right, JD, here we go from Hawaii.
JD, that's my dog.
Like,
yo, what's good, C3? This is JD 864. Just calling in to celebrate with you guys after this dub we got. As another caller said before me, I'm gonna celebrate every win the Panthers get. I am one fan who does not give two F's about draft, like where you're drafting. I'm into this season right now. I want to see the team succeeding, and I got to back up my man Cody. This team very well could be a Cinderella story, especially when you talk about the position that Wilkes was cast into, taking over after the head coach was fired. He's the interim guy. I want to see him have success. I have my own ideas of what I want to see the Panthers become. But I want to see Wilkes have success. I want to see the team have success this year. I like that the defense seems to return to form. Like the previous two games had me questioning Holcomb as a defensive coordinator because like we were allowing way too many points. But with the way the division is, the Panthers can fuck around and win this bitch with a 7-10 record. So that's my 2 cents. I'm agreeing with Cody once again. Honestly, like always.
You're consistent. You're consistent. All right, look, sneaking in. These calls sneaking in.
Hey guys, Dr. Rosen. Talk about coaching.
Is another one?
I think he just wants to have us talk about coaching.
Talk about the coaching.
Talking about the coaching. What I say, look, Ben McAdoo is what he is at this point. I think that the offensive coordinator for the past few years has been the scapegoat. Like, the offense sucks, blame it on the OC. But when you don't have a quarterback that can execute all the throws in your playbook, your offense is dead on arrival anyway. Especially when you don't have an offensive line that can pass protect. A coincidence that once PJ Walker looks in the slightest bit competent, and our offensive line finally figures out this pass protection thing, and they're being bullies running the football. Now Ben McAdoo looks a little bit better. I like what the energy that Steve Wilkes has brought to this team. And I know we disagree, Tony. I just think down the road, whether you trust PJ or not, if you're going to put these games away, you have to be able to pass the football, especially once you get into these later months that we're in now, like, December. We have to be able to push the ball downfield.
I think kudos to Wilkes is that I think last week was so deflating in so many ways that you almost started to question like a little bit what we, I think, know about Wilkes. And that is that he's going to get these guys and he's going to get a lot out of them regardless of what the situation is. And that was, I think, what was so surprising last week is just not that we didn't win or even, it was just we just got shell shocked. And I mean, that stuff maybe happens from time to time, but he doesn't have the luxury of allowing that to happen. So I think this was a big moment for the Panthers, and I think it speaks volumes to kind of his resolve and ability to be a head coach and to kind of weather. This is, and Jonathan Stewart talked about this, is like really head coaches, where their real value is in weathering the tough times more than just killing it in the good times and not letting teams fall apart, not letting the noise overwhelm you, not letting you start to doubt the things that you believed in from the beginning. My only thing I want to talk about in the coaching is how good was this defensive line in the wake of firing Paul Pasqualoni?
Weirdly better.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
Weirdly, like, I think it's somewhat unfair to blame Paul.
Right. I don't want to blame it. I just was kind of impressed.
Right. But I think it speaks more to these guys coming out here and saying, hey, listen, we can't continue to get the guys that have coached us this entire year fired, right? They're like, I really believe that there has to be a sense of accountability in that locker room for these guys, that they are in direct responsibility, maybe not in complete responsibility, but direct responsibility for guys losing their jobs. And that can't feel good.
CK, we need your help.
Yeah.
We do, man, because we have a brand new member. I'm up on screen, CK. Why don't you talk to him?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'd like to welcome a new member to the C3 Superfan Club, someone who's hit that join button, someone that's hit that little button down below that you see that says join. That's how you can be a part of this club. It's an exclusive club meant for a few people that have decided to hit that join button. I don't know who it is because it's not pulling up.
Edgar Perez.
Oh, okay,
Edgar
gotcha.
Perez.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Sorry, it didn't have the new member thing underneath it.
Oh,
Edgar Perez. Thank you for joining C3 Superfan. I was sitting there trying to
fumbling.
I was like, up, Cody.
I was waiting. I thought you were waiting.
But I did say this is him on screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you're pulling it up on screen.
Look, Edgar Perez.
Thank you, Edgar.
Yeah, thank you very much. For $1.99 a month, you can support the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. We're in our 10th season. Haven't missed a week in 10 years on Tuesdays, and we've been doing a lot of different content throughout those 10 years, but in the past 2 years, we've really expanded, like Cody said, to every day of the week that ends in Y. So thank you for your support. What we really appreciate are people like Dr. Rosen, who's calling. He said he's new to the family, thought we was live. You know, we would have loved one day we're going to have the capability of taking live calls, but then we also have the problem of this is imagine how long the show would be if we went. I mean, that would be the next thing. So thank you to people like Dr. Rosen who call into the show and is actually a super fan. Tyron Green, thank you for being a part of the chat. The real AP, don't worry, I'll listen to your call despite I heard part of it. I had to use the restroom. Tyron Green, though, great call, and a great comment. I missed it earlier. I didn't get it, and now he explained it basically. Wilk's favorite line. With that, I'll take your questions. With that, let's go to Joey, the Blind Panther.
Hey, guys. It's Joey, the Blind Panther, a.k.a. the girl that makes them howl. And about my new YouTube name, I had to delete my channel because of reasons I won't get into. So if you see someone that says Blind Panther Blogs, well, duh, that's me, because who else is Blind Panther? But anyway, guess what? I was at this game today, as some of y'all may know. My pants are damp, and sadly not because of interaction with hot girls. My shirt is damp. It's rather cold. It was in various stages of raining. But guess what? We got a W today, and we beat the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. The team that I don't care if we have a robotic quarterback and we need to tank for a human. I don't care if we beat them. I don't care. I don't care if we lose the number 1 pick in order to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Because they're the Atlanta Falcons and there's a lot of let's just say less than ideal stuff that team brings.
We can't stand
it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The halftime show was beautiful. And I did go to the Roaring Riot tailgate, enjoyed the shit out of it. God, the food was good. Then the girls were hot. But
how do you know?
Anyway,
I was about to say,
How do you know?
Maybe he was reading their braille. We love that dude. Shout out to Joey the Blind Panther. Hey, Joey, don't get banned on YouTube, bro. Calm it down, man.
What did he say?
Down.
Other than what is he doing?
I don't know. He said that he might have lost his YouTube channel due to reasons that he didn't want to get into. So
I mean, like, he is like every time a girl gets in the chat, he's like, "Hey, baby.
Hey, what's up?"
Hey.
Joey is a sweet talker. That blind man don't miss.
I was just happy.
Raymond
Joey
Grady
wasn't in the,
said, "Girls hot." I do understand that, but he's literally blind. And we did have a great conversation on the show once. Is that being blind an advantage in going to the strip club? Because like not only
so.
I think so. It's just like, baby, I got to feel your face and your like. Man, I don't know what you look like.
Yeah, how am I supposed to?
This is, you know, you do the face thing and the boob thing. I mean, he's the only guy that gets to touch.
Eyes.
I know.
Have you heard of the Americans with Disabilities Act? I'm just saying.
I know.
You've got to put.
Do you want to discriminate against blind people?
If you tell him no, you're being ableist. Okay?
The real AP is right. He's not Joey the Blind Panther. He's Joey the Black Panther. And people don't Wakanda forever. If you guys remember, actually, some of you guys that are new to the show, and we'll give them a shout out. But Joey the Blind Panther is a long-term friend of the show. Obviously, the growl that makes him howl is part of our intro. Wonderful friend of ours. And one time he said he went and played sports with a bunch of blind people, and there's some people in the chat got all shook because they thought he said with a bunch of black people, and they're like, "Why is this guy got to be like he plays sports with black people?" And we're like, "He's blind." And then they said that now he's Joey the Black Panther. By the way, that came out tonight, Wakanda Forever.
Yes,
or it's coming out right now. Actually,
Joey the Black Blind Panther.
Yeah, Black Blind Panther and CK. He's got the growl that makes him howl, but you got the voice that makes him moist.
Yes, I do. And everybody in the chat, be like Derek Murchison, whatever it is. He hit that join button. He joined the C3 Superfan Club, and he said, "I want to support you guys as well. I want Codizzle to completely butcher this introduction into the C3 Superfan, just like he did a second ago." Welcome into the club.
You're on a roll tonight. I love it.
You're
Actually,
doing great, brother.
That makes it even better when it's not smooth, because the voice is so smooth it doesn't matter. Next call. One more.
Hey, sorry guys. I'm thinking like 6:10 a.m. calling in like WFNZ and stuff like that. I thought it was a live thing. Whatever. Sorry about that. So, but what I was saying is, what I was wanting to talk about was just, if we would even want to be 5-5 right now, because maybe that would mean, because I agree with CK, but maybe that would end up meaning we still would have Rule. Like if Rule would have won those first couple games, few games, would we still have him? Do we really want him? I feel better winning these games without him.
Wow.
At least we have some type of leader of men in there.
And that's what I was saying.
That shit hits hard, bro.
It almost be like the butterfly effect. Like that little thing happened, and now we got Wilkes. At least he's a leader of men. People are wanting to fight for him. Anything's better than Rule. But that's why I think a lot of people we're all really, really excited about being 3-7 right now.
Sure,
it's crazy. It's a good feeling though, and I like it. Yeah. So, happy birthday, Tony. Keep pounding everybody.
Oh yeah, I'll say this. I love the butterfly effect aspect to that, but I think you could also think about it from this perspective. If we had won that Browns game, that could have catapulted us forward. That could have had us go into the next game.
Well, it could have been fraudulent the whole time. It would have been fraudulent the whole time. Is that they would have been fraud wins.
Sure.
Think about wow, that call hit hard.
Yeah,
that hit me hard.
It was a blessing.
Thanks the refs, I guess, at this point.
It was a blessing in disguise.
NFL officiating.
That not only was the officiating bad, but that Matt Rule was so utterly inept and incompetent at his job that him getting the axe and us losing those games, they're tied together. They go hand in hand. it was a blessing in disguise.
Do you know, I took a lot of shit. Well, on the radio station I go, they were like, "You're a weirdo for saying this." But when we were trying to make a move for Deshaun Watson, I didn't want to do it. Sure. And the reason, I mean, I had some other, I mean, there was a lot of reasons. One is like the capital you got to give up. I didn't even take the moral high road. I don't even care about problems. You know what I mean? Like, is like at this point, I'm just talking about the team. And, you know, I do think we need to consider those. But I said, I don't want Deshaun Watson to come in here because I was really done with Rule after last season. It looked so bad that I felt like, man, I can tell that. And I was trying to give him a lot of a benefit of the doubt after the first year. I thought the first year was fine. But it was so bad last year. I thought we should have fired him at the end of the season.
Same.
And I just thought it was kind of prolonging with the inevitable. And what I was really fearful about is if you bring Deshaun Watson in and he saves Matt Rule's job, but it's still broken in the background. I was worried about, like, it's like, hey, Deshaun Watson comes in, you win 10 games or 9 games, and you didn't win them because Matt Rule's a good coach. You won them because Deshaun Watson saved your life in this case. And I think that's what Dr. Rosen is saying here is like, how about this is we don't even have a good season. We feel better about the integrity of the team right now. Like we could have a better record with Matt Rule, but we would be questioning the strength, the backbone of the real team. And now we don't even have a good record, and we actually believe in this team more. Like we purging the can. Like it's like, you know, it's just like you're sick. You got to just throw up. Just throw it up. Throw out. And man, we had to throw up Matt Rule. Look, 2 last ones. These guys love us.
What's going on, C3 family? Shout out to Cody and all them boys. Hey, this is D from Sanford, North Carolina. Hey, shout out to the NFL Plus app. I was able to watch the game at work. A win is a win, and I'm happy. The one thing that I really wanted to touch on is the fact that this is how we should play, at least offensively. It wasn't perfect, but keep pounding always makes me feel like traditionally the Carolina Panthers, we ran the ball, we run the ball, we play solid defense, we try to force turnovers, we limit turnovers, and when we can do that consistently, you see a productive product on the field. And I'm happy for the win. I can't say that it points us to any other trajectory. We have to take it week by week on what performance. It's kind of like a stock market type of thing, but I am loving it. I'm just loving it. You know, we wore the black on the black. Wakanda forever. Did the little Black Panther thing, in my opinion. We came out with a win. I also agree with Big Cody. That should have been our uniform for a minute. We've had the silver for over 20-some odd years as a helmet. It's time to change it up. But, hey, shout out to that defense. The defense, to me, did the job early, got Mariota out of sorts, had him making horrible decisions. Hey, anytime we can get a W in Carolina, baby, it's a time to celebrate. I love it. Hey, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Keep pounding.
My brain just got
pounded, baby.
My brain just got melted in this call. Wakanda Forever, the movie comes out on 11/11, right? Or like it comes out today. How long have we known that was the release date? Because what if the Panthers really were strategic enough to say we're going black on black on black on Wakanda Forever night?
Maybe.
Now I'm like, wait a second here.
Maybe we did this in honor of Chadwick Boseman, bro. Let's go, man. We have the Black Panther.
What if that was it? Like,
up.
what if they were like, you know what? Black Panther, the new Black Panther's coming out right after our primetime game. Let's save this entirely for that. That honestly, would be some next level shit, right?
Honestly,
there.
The fact that the Panthers haven't partnered with Marvel is an absolute travesty at this point in time.
I know. You know the chant they do. Ah, ah, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ooh. I can't do it right.
We got to get Frankie Luvu to do it.
We need to play that in the stadium, dude.
What if we did that as like a chant, as the like? I feel like I like to keep pounding, but like I've always found
we're on to something here.
Yeah, I've always found that the chance when you go to like the Chiefs, they're like, ugh, like whatever they do.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know,
well,
and then you have the
old,
skull.
they used to do the for the Seminoles, you know,
Yeah.
or even the Braves.
But like,
you gotta be careful with those,
right? And so, yeah, certainly. But I think that just screaming on third down is not nearly as effective as
Oh man, you're right. Like, can we get organized noise? Because I do, like, I try to get. When you go to the game with me, man, it's like Tony, shut up. I mean, I'm be like trying to get everybody pumped up on third down. But one of the things you have to remember about third down is you don't want to overexhaust your windpipes too early.
Exactly.
And then, like, there's still 12 seconds on the play clock and you're running out of wind. But if you had chance where they could build, we're on to something here. Number one, we are on to something. And you know what? We really need tradition on this team. That's like kind of what we're missing. Is, you know, when you go to a Georgia football game, like every time, and they probably do this at a lot of stadiums, but they have so many organized songs that the fans sing. They put the keys out every time for when they're doing the kickoff, and they always do a dog bark, you know, like at the when they kick it off. We need to develop these traditions, and I think you're onto it. If we can get Frankie Louvu to like get us into the Wakanda chant, that would be dope. The Black Panther, the Black Panther chant, and you know you don't have to pay the team for that. I mean, you don't have to pay Disney for that. You know, if you like bring in Wakanda stuff, like or these things, and the team does it, they got to pay for it. So the ECU Pirates had this awesome intro one year. They did it 2 years, and they got they used clips from Pirates of the Caribbean. It was so dope. But they probably spent a fortune doing it. We need to do this. The C3 Panthers podcast, CK's on it. We need organized, thoughtful tradition on third down. That's where we're starting, folks. We got to start. You guys come up with it by Tuesday. We got to figure out what the third down chant is. I think when I say this is the last call, every time people just call one more.
So, Red AP here. Final thoughts. How do y'all think this team is finishing record-wise?
Ooh. Good kind of bookend right here.
10-7?
No.
I mean, you know, I don't even know, man. We're the most bipolar team
10-7
in the league.
Yeah, we would have to not lose another game.
No.
Lose games. You think they're going to win? Win them.
We're losing next week.
They're going to lose.
No offense.
I don't know. What's your thoughts, man? Keep pounding. We'll see you Tuesday. Peace out.
If we beat the Ravens, bro, I'm on your Cinderella story right away. Like I am like, we're going to Super Bowl. No, I know it's not impossible, but they aren't a bad team no matter who's injured.
If Matt and Dante Jackson are not able to play the rest of the season, that might be a little concerning.
Who?
Not gonna lie.
I don't know.
We're screwed. Even more so, Ioannidis, I think.
Yeah, Ioannidis is a bigger loss, I think, on this defensive line. I think Dante Jackson has been more of a liability in coverage than an asset this year. So,
I think we win at the most 3 more games this year.
I could see us going. So we're 3.
So here we go. We got
7.
the Ravens. Think of this: I think the Ravens. Now you guys can, but like, it would be a long shot. Ravens, I would say, is an L. The Broncos at home is a possible. Like if you ever played spades and you say, I got to get these books, and I got 3 and a possible, I would call it possible, but I don't think they're as bad as people think they are. I think, but the Seahawks in Seattle, I've written them off too much already. I'm on the Seahawks train. I picked them over the Bucks already this week. The Steelers is a real winnable game.
Yeah.
The Lions is again a possible but winnable. So I would say there's 2 right there and a maybe. And then you got the Bucks and the Saints. So I'd say there's 3 and a maybe. So I think Best case scenario, 4 wins more, which would put us at what? What do we got right now? 3?
I mean,
that would put us at 7. Best case scenario is 7 and 9.
There's only 2 in there that I feel like we are for sure going to lose. And that would be the Seattle and the Pittsburgh, or not the Pittsburgh, but the Baltimore game. We could, chalk, or get those, pull those out somehow.
But late in the season is going to be tough. January 1st.
But I could see a scenario where we win those other 5 and we end up being 8 and 9 by the end of the year. And I think 8 and 9 in this division is enough to get you the nod for the NFC South.
So we got 2 definites. I'm definitely I can get you it's almost, and yes, the real AP. I've not been in county though, but I can play some spades with you and I roll with it. But I was I got 2 definites, 2 possibles, and 1 I think I can get it if we play right. So I would say 3 and a maybe. 3 and a possible is what I would book this at. Cody, I think the best case scenario is 7 and 10.
Yeah, I mean 7 and 10. And by the way, that's 2 games better than Matt Rule was ever able to accomplish. So, I mean, it's at least a step in the right direction.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say this is I think if we go 7
8, Tony.
Yeah, and here is the thing is that I think you're right. I think 7 and 10 is the realistic one. But if you get to 7 and 9, and you're in week 17 against the Saints, then you're playing for so much that then that game, like if you beat the Bucks, all of a sudden the Saints becomes a reality. But I think we're splitting those games at this point in the season. But if you win the first one, then there's a real chance you take both. Then you're scooping books up for the real AP at that point. That's it. All right. So I say 7 and 10 is kind of, if you get a 7 and 9 though, I'm going, we can get to 8. But I think it's 7 and 10 is really best case scenario for me. Those are the calls. We've done our kind of last thoughts. I didn't do my last thought. My last thought is just this. I'm really proud of this team for not rolling over and dying. And as fans, and I don't want to, and I'm definitely part of the swings and things like that. I try not to be so susceptible to them. But it was really hard after the Bengals game to have a lot of optimism going forward. It was really hard. And I love this is that when we talked to Jonathan Stewart on the podcast, is he always kept coming back to the players believe in themselves. They really do. And the short week helped us. We won a division game. If there's a game to win, if there's a game to lose, it was against the Bengals. And if there's a game to win, it's against the Falcons. We just wish we would have lost in better form against the Bengals. We would have had a little bit more confidence. This is great for us. This is the best thing. And that's it. Is I'm proud. Not proud. Actually, I can't be proud of someone who's in a position of authority. I'm just happy that Wilkes got this team to not stop believing in themselves.
I'll say I'm proud. Oh, yeah, I'm proud of Steve Wilkes.
I just don't want to say proud because that's that means you're in a position of
how many other people would even get this team to believe they could do something special? To me, it's the only guy that could have gotten the most out of this team this year, regardless of whatever the future may hold. How about this before we get out of here, man? 160 people still hanging with your boys at almost 1:30 a.m. Yo, C3 fan base is.
Are you surprised? I'm not surprised in one bit.
Not at all. I'm just saying, shout out to these diehard badasses that we call C3 Panther Podcast fans.
More surprising, 156 people watching, or that if we do these dab on them picks and these talent shame will actually be done by 1:30. I say the latter. Let's go in and let's get you pick. You pull it up. Surprise me. Right. Surprise me. Where do we start?
Let's do it.
I don't want to go
got
first.
the W. I figure since we got the W, I'll start with the negatives and then we'll finish with the positives. I think that's a better route to roll.
I like that.
If I'm gonna do a towel of shame, listen, this guy didn't play terrible, but still, it deserves to be said. Xavier Woods, can you please catch something for once, bro? Like, come on, man. How many balls are going to hit you in your hands and you cannot catch them? Come on, man. This is ridiculous. You legit could have had like 5 interceptions this season and you dropped the ball. So, towel of shame, Xavier Woods. Catch the ball, man. Y'all seen the replacements, right? Remember when the receiver put that sticky stuff on his hands and the replacements? That's what Xavier Woods needs.
All right, I'll go. I'm going to piggyback off of that, but I'm going to expand that to both teams' secondaries. Not a single one of them caught interceptions other than J.C. Horn and one that got called back with Miles Hartfield, I think. You had a dropped interception by Shaq Thompson, by Dante Jackson, by Xavier Woods, by at least 4 players on the Atlanta Falcons team.
I mean, they were worse than us.
Right. And so I'm icing up secondary players on Thursday Night Football, showing that they're on defense for a reason. Ice up, or not ice up, but towel of shame.
Yeah. Shout out to welcome to the fam, Tyrone Green. Look, again, the C3 Panthers podcast has been rocking and rolling for 10 years. We're the longest, like when I say, and I know that people sometimes get annoyed, other creators that I tout longest running, but we haven't missed a week in 10 years. We've had occasionally to shuffle a day from Tuesday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Monday, or like, but we've always had the podcast once a week for 9 full years, and we're in our 10th season. And that's more than the actual Panthers have done. That's what I want to write. When I say we're the longest running Panthers podcast, everybody has missed a week, including the Panthers and anybody else. So, look, we're just fans. We're not experts. We're not, I always say this, I'm not an expert. I'm not a football expert, but I'm an expert football fan. And that's how we rock. We rock to the end. So welcome to the party. Welcome to the family. We're always here, and we're always trying to lift all boats. I'm not going to ever diminish any other creator at all either. And that is like and this is what I wish other creators would be more conducive to. And that is like a rising tide lifts all boats. You know, so
man.
Like,
shout out to the Panther creators. I've always said this too, especially when we get other Panther creators on the Friday free for all. Rising tide lifts all boats, man. There's enough likes, comments, and subscribers for everyone to thrive and be successful. I mean, you're never going to get
I'm a capitalist, man.
Yeah, you're never going to get nowhere in life hating on other people's success. So keep on doing you. Keep on supporting Panther creators and hit that like button for the boys.
Yeah, and this is all we ask for. We ask for you to be to just be an active member in the chat, to smash the thumbs up button, to subscribe to the podcast, to tell a friend, be a friend, tell a friend. And that's what all I want is we want to just go. And this is why we rock so hard too, is because we've been focusing on a community.
Yeah.
And like, it actually got me through the pandemic. I was like I was like the pandemic, like I had no problem with it. I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna hang out with my boys and talk football all the time. So go ahead and shout that out, and then I'm gonna do mine.
Well, yeah, I was gonna do 2 things. Welcome to Michelle Dinkins, who said just started listening to you guys and love it. Keep pounding. Thanks you so much, Michelle. And then Tony, man, you got a birthday present, man. Our boy J Mac with the $9.99 says happy birthday, Tony. Cold beer on me. F the Falcons. Keep pounding, baby.
Thank you
Shout
so
out
much.
J Mac.
Thank you so much. My towel of shame goes to CK did the secondaries on both teams. I'm doing the kickers on both teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Look, is Panero, who and maybe it was my fault that I started going Panero for the dinero, and then I started saying that like for 2 weeks, and then he just missed, and then he ruined the last Falcons game. But I think he missed. What did he miss today? I mean, he had some good field goals. But but he missed another extra point or two. And then Cuckoo Boo Boo Doo Doo hit and Al Michaels is the one that fucked him up with 71. He was like, oh, he's got 71 extra points. He hasn't missed one. And then this dude missed two. It's like Cuckoo Poo Poo Doo Doo. Y'all get the towel of shame. The kickers. Jason Verity, ECU alum. We need him. Let's go to the last segment of the post-game show is where we gave the towel of shame. Now it's time to give our dab on them pick. It's our version of the player of the game.
I just like doing it, man. Dab on them folks. Dab on them folks. And that dab on them folks. They like seeing it. Tell me what to do. Dab on them folks.
I just like doing it. Boy, the dab on them is so much more fun when you win a game.
Oh, yeah.
And you're searching and searching. There's a lot. There's a couple. I'm going to let you guys go first. I'm going to let y'all get your pick of the litter.
Hit that, CK.
So I'm gonna switch over to the linebackers. We've been giving shit to the linebackers for the past couple of weeks.
Years,
rightfully so.
Years now.
Frankie Louvu heard that shit today.
Oh man,
Frankie Louvu was playing
so good,
lights out today, and I'm gonna say Frankie Louvu, dab on them folks. Because you are absolutely a dog, and I can't even begin to fathom how he was available.
Best thing Rule ever did,
right?
He might be entering the conversation of best thing Rule ever did.
Yeah, dude's absolutely balling out. I've been critical of the linebacking core, but Louvu came in here and he said, "Not today, bro." And he showed up. He got some tackles for a loss. He got 2-3 sacks, maybe. I can't remember. I think it was just 2. And one of them was that one that was just like you thought Marcus Mariota got away, and he just got his shoestrings and got him sacked. Unfortunately, it wasn't the interception.
I thought his best play was in the first half where they strung that run. Got him out to the left side, and then he was able to, and he was able to stop that from being a gain. I thought that was an incredible play.
That was a beautiful play. I remember we were in the man cave and we were watching it, and it was like we were just in all of that. It was just he did an incredible job today. So my dab on him is for Frankie Louvu.
Dab on him.
Nice.
Go ahead, Cody.
Dab on him. Yeah, I'm dabbing on Derek Brown. I'm dabbing on Derek Brown. And by the way, it's like, I've said before, that Derek Brown, maybe we had too high on him. Listen, I think that he is an unsung hero of this team. Like, he is the interior of our defense. And now you start to see him putting it together with the pass rush maneuvers and getting off of blocks, just being disruptive. And if you're ever going to have an elite defense, you need that. You need that juggernaut player in the middle of your defense wrecking shit. So, Derek Brown, dab on them.
Watching his highlights gave me chills in that post game. Like
he got
so violent and so quick. Like,
this was his best game, maybe, of his career today.
Well, it's a lot easier to see the highlights. It's hard to see defensive tackle highlights a lot of times because it doesn't really like him stuffing a run like it doesn't really pop. But when he's throwing multiple offensive linemen on the ground,
dude. He was making a difference in a team that wants to run the ball.
Ioannidis had that one really good one too.
Yeah,
that was like he came flying at it like a bat out of hell and caught. It might have been a Marcus Mariota, but I think it might have been their running back who was running on a jet sweep or something, and he just like caught up to him. Dude's a defensive tackle. This dude's running full speed as a running back. Ioannidis comes just out of nowhere and just fucking gets that dude from behind. Incredible plays by the defensive tackles today, but Derek Brown certainly deserves it.
I got kind of a trifecta, the trinity of dab on them's.
Cheer.
No, I think this
It's
is
your
like
birthday. You're allowed.
I think Deontay Foreman just had such a big numeric. He was like he gets the dab. I think Steve Wilkes deserves a dab for keeping this team alive.
Yeah.
And then my last one is Terrace Marshall Jr. is the only asshole that covered the prize picks. Thank you for one like he doesn't even deserve the dab, but Steve Wilkes and Deontay Foreman. But damn, one play. Fucking hate you, Tommy Tremble. Hate you. And Cordero Patterson. Prize Picks knew something, man. I'm on. I got Taco Tuesday pick, and then Cordero Patterson don't even get the ball. Something up with that.
By the way, Cordero Patterson is still a dog running back.
Yeah. Dude, he was doing the kickoff returns. You can't say you were worried about his health.
He was getting making a lot of our team miss. Like he is
on the kickoff,
a
like,
weapon.
They wouldn't even give him the ball.
I'm so confused.
They hit the less than on the prize picks.
Well, I'm not confused, and I'll tell you why. I think they saw the production of their running while he was out, and I don't think they were in a rush to implement him back into their rushing scheme. Last week he did a really good job, but they'd slowed down towards the second half. They kind of went away from him because he wasn't as effective. So
actually,
I think,
watch all those. You know what my dab on is? Them end zones.
Ooh, yes,
that's my dab on them pick. The end zones
were sick.
With the digital.
They called it digital camo.
Yeah, that's like what you put on in Call of Duty on the gun.
Also,
yeah.
By the way, we do know. I think it's fair to say we know why Baker had been playing so badly. He just bare forehead just headbutts his player. Like he's clearly got some CTE.
Yeah,
he is now. By the way, he is now officially in concussion protocol.
Is he? Oh, I thought you.
I just made
I was like,
I just made that up. But
look, Cody's a spotter. He's a spotter. He's like, oh.
Yeah, I saw it.
Hey,
for his own health and safety, we got to pull him.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. My name's Tony Dunn, C3 Panthers Podcast, the post-game show, who made it almost. We almost hit that 130 mark. Look, 140. Look, we've grown incredibly over the last 2 years. I know I keep saying we're the longest running, but this past 2 years has been not Panther fans locking arms together, enjoying the fam. We just trying to build a community. We're here on Tuesday nights. Tomorrow night, Cody Lashney has built this cult on Friday nights, the Friday free-for-all. So if you like, one of the things is I don't ever, my problem is this, is I don't like people, I don't want to pontificate about sports to you. Like I love to talk. You know that. But I don't want to just say like, I know. I'm just trying to give you kind of my perspective of what I see, and I respect y'all's opinions. And Cody Lashley's created this awesome opportunity for it not to just be us talking to you, but you be the host of the show. You be the co-host, right? I mean, because you're not going to set it up, and you're going to be thankful that Cody sets all that up and does that. Friday free-for-all, Cody, tomorrow night. We're going to be a celebration, I bet.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, to all of our new viewers like Tyrone, Michelle, Derek, to everybody that's coming and hanging out with us, every Friday at 7 p.m., mark that in your calendars, you get a chance to come on the show. I posted the link to the StreamYard, and you can come on and talk about your favorite team, man, the Carolina Panthers. We have a great community of guys that come on the show. I filter people in and out. It's a great time, and it's a great discussion, man. And you can be a part of the city, because that's literally what this thing is. It is a podcast for Panther fans by Panther fans. So we're always paying it back to y'all. The reason why we do this show, man, and that's the Friday free-for-all. Another thing, while we still got some viewers, like we said, we support all Panther creators. And this Sunday,
this is a big thing, guys. Sunday.
Me and Monty Fed from the 4-man rush. Man, me and him are always going back and forth on Twitter. Enough people kept badgering us enough that they wanted to see a debate happen. So we're making it happen. This Sunday at 5 p.m., me and Monty are going to be debating with special guest moderator Aaron Duncan from Dunk on Demand. Go subscribe to all those guys. It's going to be a blast. And you know me, I don't lose debates, so I'm about to smack Monty around and really show him what's up with these debate bars that I got. Check us out, boy.
CK, Cody will be that guy who will make the recount. Like, I do not concede. I do not concede on election. It's like, there's some write-ins still. There's some
fraud.
Yeah, so look, CK, we had fun last night. We had the beat check with Joe Person.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think one of the best, maybe I was just feeling it, but I thought I had a lot of fun on the Madden simulation last night.
Yeah, the Madden sim has been a pretty fun thing to get into. Obviously, Thursday night made it a little bit harder for us to get that on the regular Saturday evenings when it's actually been giving us a pretty good amount of viewership. But, we had plenty of people show up last night, hit that join button, just stay till the very end and enjoy me and Tony just literally talking about the Carolina Panthers while there's a mini game going on in the background. And we're working on trying to do some things to up the production value. I know that game doesn't look incredible when I stream it that way. So we're working on some things behind the scenes to try to see if we can make that a little bit better. But
it looks fine, but we're getting better each week, guys. Like the Panthers.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody Lashney, let's get the heck out of here and go get guys, you know what? Enjoy your Sunday. You get to go watch the Red Zone. You get to watch all the games. You get to enjoy college football without having to do the math. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Like, this is like a mini bye. We got a mini bye. Actually, we didn't even mention that. This is a mini bye week. At least the Panthers got a mini bye taking on a big team. Cody, get us out of here, man. Follow us. Subscribe. Love y'all.
C3 Panther Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.
2 people in Hawaii like us.
Hey, all over the world.
Jake Knapp is the inventor of the Design Sprint and the New York Times bestselling author of the book Sprint. He's also the co-founder of Character, a venture fund for early-stage startups. How and why did you start using Miro?
I came from this position of thinking, I don't want to be doing stuff online, to thinking now when I do a sprint in person with a company, it's like, we're going to use Miro, even though we're all in the same room, because that's a better way for us to get this work done. As an investor, we're basically investing in their ability to solve problems. We're saying, we think this group of people is going to be able to solve a problem in a really great way and create value by doing it. And actually, you need to give people the tools that can help them make decisions, help them collaborate, help them visualize and see things in a different way. And Miro does all those things. So to me, at least as an investor, I'm thinking, give the team the tools that are going to help them think, that are going to make the most, brighten their skills as smart folks. And Miro is at the top of that list.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on PrizePicks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit PrizePicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at PrizePicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit PrizePicks.com for restrictions and details.